All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're having a wonderful morning. It is February 6, 2026, and like the title says, you have some volatility, baby. Yesterday, the last couple of days, it was bad with the software, the AI, and unfortunately, I wish I had more of a reasoning for you today, but after everything dumped last night, you even have Amazon down on like 7% on earnings, Bitcoin hit another low. As we're getting into the morning, a lot of things bounce. So they're blaming the contrarians. They're saying that it was so oversold in the liquid that it's easier to bounce. But just like yesterday, we saw a pretty aggressive move and then that turned into something. But we also had another Anthropic release. So it is Friday. A lot of the big data comes out next week. You got non-farm CPI and all of that. But we're going to see how today plays and whether or not this is the buy the dip or are we about to enter some real volatility. Don't forget the back and forth, the up and down. Hey, right when you think it's going to die, it bounces. Right when you think it's going to bounce, it dies. So yeah, it's not as if today is driven by a lot of news, but you definitely got a decent amount of moves that are occurring that are getting people's attention. So Chad, I hope you're ready for it. I hope you're feeling blessed. But here at the Cult, my friends, before we do anything, before we try to chase a dollar, before we try to enrich ourselves, we must pay homage to a very special group of people that has made a sacrifice that most of us never have and ever will. And I'm talking about the veterans of the United States of America. So on behalf of the Cult, the people here, the people not here, want to give a huge special shout out. All the active servicemen, past servicemen, anybody who has served this country, God bless you and thank you, baby. For real. I hope you save 10%. I hope you get a long term. I hope you own the land. I hope you know that all your service and skills that you gained in service, it applies so well to your financial future, my friend. And I do hope that you use it. And at the very least, want to give you a big thank you and thank you to your families as well, for they made that sacrifice too. And big shout out to everybody else out there giving back to their local communities, all the doctors, nurses, teachers, firefighters, police officers, the janitors, the coaches, the garbage men, everybody making their community run, baby. God bless you and thank you. But ladies and gentlemen, please rise up. Place your right hand over your heart. Say it with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, baby. Send it to church! Oh, it's game time, Chad. Horn. Oh, my goodness. Good morning. Good morning, Chatadonia. Are you ready? You better say it's going to be a good day. You better say it out loud. Say you about to do something with it. Say it out loud, son. Oh, it's actually a fun day. Some real volatility, you guys. That's what we were talking about with February. Remember, February is not really the best month, especially in midterms. And I don't think it disappointed so far, but now, I mean, just when everybody was thinking it couldn't get any worse, everybody was like playing into the downside, it started to go nuts. So yeah, I got a couple of plays. I'm going to be watching IGV, HYG, Bitcoin, Silver, Reddit, Roblox, Stellantis, and Molina. Those are the big earnings plays today. Again, Molina is down 30%. Remember, I think it's back to the Michael Burry price. Again, Stellantis, they like cut their dividend. They have got a big write down from EV. I think Roblo, are they still up? Yeah, up 6 still. And then Reddit had a good earnings, but they're all kind of chilling. And some of the other ones from yesterday. But again, everybody is going to be focusing on IGV and everything that is going on in that space, my friend. So Chad, I hope you're ready for all of it. But now you're going to have to get your intro song. You get an intro song. And then we begin. Oh, yeah. Game time. Jesus. Praise God. Amen, amen. It's a cult, baby. Hey. Yeah. If we talking plays, yeah, I'm in there like swimwear. I've been there. I've done this shit for 10 years. You could have it all, but you've been scared. Big scare. Funny part, there wasn't even risk there. My thoughts been on, yeah, I've been clear. No fear. Oh dear, who you trying to control here? My God is the weapon, I ain't boasting. Nah, it's done.
Daddy said it's finished, made me in his image, but that always made me timid. Wonder why we different, don't you ever get it twisted. It's the only way we get it, set apart from the start. And the heart isn't ours, it's a hippie with the love, but it's David with the sword. I want peace, so that means you gon' kill me if it's war. Nietzsche, Trotsky, can't beach on the arc. Want it easy or hard, want a genie or a god. Don't believe me, little bro, you a child, you a son.
The heist in above.
Don't deny it, we don't like it when they tell us who we are. I can tell you who I was, I can tell you who we is.
10% of 2026 is complete.
Keep it real, it's not the reason they will kill. It's the freedom in believing they want that to bring the will.
Man, Catadonia.
I'd rather have it now, and I ain't never.
Are you ready? Are you ready, bro? Game time. So, Chad, let's have a good one. Again, everyone's going to be in focus on this bounce. Really, it's all getting chalked up to oversold. They're saying people sold puts. Again, software is going to be one of the bigger focuses. And then, again, Amazon, too. That was the other big earnings. But 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Fight. Alrighty. Oh, that's the other guy. They have not opened up the pre... Oh, no, they did. There's nobody trades this shit. It's actually kind of crazy. What is the premium? They don't charge a premium? Damn. So what was the Bitcoin's pricing in? Because some of these options on Bitcoin have not moved at all. Okay, 30% on the far out of the monies. But yeah, that's kind of crazy considering some of them didn't really wake up with a big premium. I'll put Jesus on the beat so I can listen to it. Let's see, Amazon. Again, the chips are up because of the Amazon CapEx. Everybody was asking a lot of questions about that. And dude, I don't know how the fuck Iron is only down 1%. That was insane. That thing was down 30 at one point. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that one got squashed. Let's see. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Where's China? Yeah, even those dip buy ones from yesterday didn't do that crazy on IGV. So yeah, it's still not. This is all kind of with what's priced. I think IGV is only pricing in 1.5 today. And yeah, all the chip makers are pretty on fire. So again, there's even like AMD, Intel news on chips lagging. And people like that one. Bitcoin still climbing. Hold on. And SPY going straight up to start. NASDAQ up 0.5. Damn. Russell is up by 1.8. Shit. And then Dow's up by 1. I mean, it's not like all the earnings, like the staples, they kind of lagged a little bit. You had a couple of staples not do too hot. Well, I'm looking at some of the premiums here, but yeah, it's not too crazy. IGV is now starting to ramp, but they opened up very small. Again, you were pricing a lot from the volatility, but now they're starting to move. Yeah, dude, a lot of the staples, I'm surprised. I thought they were going to get clapped there because some of the earnings, but it's doing good. And yeah, Pfizer right below 20 or 27. And then Microsoft's only up by 0.8. Again, Microsoft, Oracle, Palant, that literally makes up your IGV. And then Roblo giving up a little bit. EL, a little bit. EL got an upgrade, even though they got washed yesterday. Where's Molina? Molina's already moved 5% off the bottom. Just kind of crazy. Yeah, now they're jacking up some of the IGVs. Where's your boy Bitcoin? I don't know. There's like Bitcoin, there's IBIT, and then there's the GBTC. But again, it is still early. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, there's even out of the monies on the call side that are still down. Kind of nuts. Why they make it so much, Habibi? They make these so much. All right. All right, man. So I did get one. You end up losing if it does nothing. So good luck. Newell is halted because they had bad earnings, but I don't know why they'd be halted unless they're having a call. And then IGV hasn't done much. It's kind of the opposite of the other day when we had that gap down and then it kind of stayed pinned. But literally, you're back to the clawed level of yesterday. This is what I was talking about there. Just depending on the timing, if it ends up bouncing, and that's kind of the problem with everything. I mean, you could go more short-term on them, but that's up to you. But just in case, given I think February is going to be a lot more exciting. This is already exciting. I mean, if it makes one move up, 2 days of bounce, and then stops, everyone's going to kind of trip out a little bit. But the reason why we're up today, I mean, it feels like yesterday with that quick 6-7%. There is a consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. And then next week is filled with it. Well, yeah, just yesterday on Bitcoin was like a historic day. That was like, again, the only other time you've had like a big like intraday sell-off like that was like FTX, the RSI, the way, you sold off from the top recently, like the consistent decline. You haven't seen that. Like that was one of the third largest in its history. That's the crazy part. You didn't even get an event. That's what we were talking about. We were saying, I was like, dude, there's no FTX. There's no nothing. IBIT. I don't know if IBIT or GBTC, and then IGV is software. These are just the ETFs as well too, so keep that in mind. I haven't looked at MSTR. That one again, they're up 14, bro. There were so many names that got clobbered. So yeah, IRA, that one ended up dropping. That one got fucking murked. Again, the guidance and earnings, that's going to be the real thing moving forward. Even though people feel good today really off nothing, it could be because some of the earnings. I know Fortinet and a couple other software plays, they made some moves. So yeah, this is how you have to see it. Catching fallen knives. Well, at certain points, you just scale in. That's the real key. I mean, you never throw your full amount out at first, but like, there was some of this that it was just several days of bigger declines. Oh, I think Bitcoin's more of the algos, but what about that Peach algo? Oh, nah. Good morning, Peach Nation. Good morning, America. This software America. Pizza America. Happy Friday, Bradley Frizzle. What's up, baby? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Do 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 do. Boeing. I welcome Bradley Frizzle, the Sultan of Arabia. We welcome Bradley Frizzle to buy a Boeing. How are you, Habibi? All that Bitcoin money gotta go somewhere. What about the peach? But yeah, that's what people were saying even with software though. So some people are chilling out, and like the fact of the matter, all this money didn't disappear. Like we said, there's gonna be winners and losers. It's just gonna go somewhere. And that's where I think we're gonna have to stabilize a little bit. But this is just the first this is the first green day in a minute. So we're about to find out. And I don't even know if the market, I mean, you're up 1% on the NASDAQ, 1 on the SPY, 2% on the Russell. But yeah, we're going to see how this actually chills out. But the first good day is decent. People are going to like that for a little bit. Do, 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 do. Boeing is up 7? Oh, 3.1. I said, what? I think yesterday, again, they had that good news. It lagged for a little bit. And Nvidia, though. That's the thing I think that's kind of obscuring today. Damn, Pepsi's still going. Watch the staples. Yeah, staples are still... Everything is riding with this. Intel is doing good. Again, they were saying some chip delays. This is just like yesterday, though. That's the only thing that's kind of worrisome. Remember, Intel was up 4 or 5% at one point, and then just flipped. But yeah, Nvidia is leading the way a lot, so this could be obscuring the market, making it... A lot of the chips are up. SanDisk, every single one of them. So it may feel like something's happening there, but, we'll find out here in a... I could check now, too, but... I think people are still skeptical, but also, too, you had enough discount where people wanted to be contrarians. Step in a little bit. Spreads are still very wide in some instances. I'm surprised staples are up. So the problem is going to be if on the next decline, this is what you got to watch for. If it's going to get really volatile, even if we like bounce up and it seems like we're doing good, you're going to have to watch out for the day that the staples don't go up. And that's when you're going to get a real frustrating move. Because then the staples are up so much, if their earnings don't play along, or even then it's just already up so much, the staples will get clapped, and then even software or anything else comes down again. That will be the frustrating volatility after a little bounce. Because again, the staples have moved a shit ton. So that's kind of the dilemma here, not to mention just the reasoning of where all the money's going. But people were starting to freak out last night. And then in the same respect, I mean, another couple percent. I mean, Bitcoin dropped 10% at night, and then it fucking popped right back up. So at some point, people like the risk to reward, but it's hard to say if this is over and you're going to play the back and forth. You could probably see it in your premiums. The puts are still expensive, the calls, but it's still early too. It's only been 12 minutes, so give it a second. But I do think the market breadth, it seems like we're broadening out, but then you have bigger juice coming out of Nvidia and some of the other ones. Yeah, NASDAQ, 83 in the green. This looks like plunge protection team, dog. 83 in the green, 17 in the red. Dow Jones, 28 in the green. Amazon and Verizon. Literally, Amazon is the only one besides Verizon. And then again, Verizon went crazy the last couple days. And then SPY, 450 in the green, 50 in the red. Oh my goodness. Wow, Habibi. All right. Well, Intel's going. Bitcoin stopped moving, but still holding. IGV's about to go up a little bit. You got Microsoft on the high. Again, Meta is actually going red. Meta's one of the 50 names in the red. Believe it or not. Yeah, bro, everything is going up. Very fascinating. I'm telling you, you have like Molina and a couple of others that didn't do too good. Again, even Philip Morris earnings weren't that hot. But hey, man, I'll take it. Estee Lauder bounced a little bit. But again, there was a bigger flush at the end of the day yesterday, so some of this is kind of just making the money back. Let's see. Oh no, those Estee Lauders came back up. I thought that would have stayed down. My goodness. Yeah, and then even some puts from the other day are still up. Oh man. You better hope this don't turn into a mini 2018. So yeah, that's why I say watch the morning. What time is it? 15 minutes. So give it another like what, 30, 45 minutes. We'll see here. Maybe like an hour, hour and a half total. But it's going to either play this game and have one of those days where kind of like Monday, where if you make the early move and then it doesn't give up, you're fine. But then if we do a move like yesterday, people are going to hate this. And then the premiums get even worse. That's what's going to happen because the puts are still green. But then the puts will come down depending on how high we go. But then if we come back down, your puts won't make as much. And then the calls are going to lose whatever they have. Oh, yeah. Long-term's fucking smashing off this. Again, we didn't have too bad of a day there, too, yesterday. Except I know Spotify killed the smaller account. Oh, there, you're back in business, Habibi. Yeah, the names that were kind of stronger throughout this, those are the ones that are down today. Again, Verizon, Amazon just has earnings, but yeah, and then Meta. Remember, Meta didn't really get killed off of this. Even though they had CapEx, AI, all that, they actually did a little bit better. Conagra's down, and then Intel's going up 5. Well, yeah, remember, Conagra ripped, though, the last couple days. That's what I'm saying. If you went up a lot, you were more likely to go down. That's why I thought the staples would be a little bit more clobbered today. But today is definitely broader, and then you have big tech, making some weighty moves. I bit the kelb. Okay, sorry. It's an Arab joke. Like, I bit bint. Okay, I'm sorry. IGV up 3 now. So again, it's slow movement, but they are climbing. Like I'm saying, this is like slowly washing away some of the puts, but they're still elevated. And then some names, depending on where you picked up. If you really got the bottom yesterday, you got a little bit of gains, but back, yeah, we're actually above the Anthropic level now, Habibi. Yeah, remember, we were at the Anthropic level. At least that's where IGV was. Let me double check. Oh yeah, it started to move a little bit more. Yeah, it hit the top of the Anthropic level. Remember when we had that other release yesterday? Yeah, NVO got the good. They got the FDA on their side now. That's why it ripped off that. Eli Lilly, too, they benefited. And then Hims got clapped. Yeah, Molina, dude, remember, it ripped to like 180 off of after Burry, but now I think his price was in the 120s. Where is the dollar? Dollar's down again by a decent amount. But notice how the dollar is just stable at kind of where you were from December, and that's where we started freaking out with the gold and silver. Kind of funny. Okay, SPY still going. High ticker, you are still gassing. Again, you just got to make this past the first hour. This is very similar to what you saw yesterday. Consumer sentiment comes out, but it is the blue hair data. So it's the Michigan consumer sentiment. I do think more people are going to be focused on the jobs report next week. Next week has a ton of data. Retail sales, jobs, non-farms, and CPI. So yeah, that's going to be the one. But we'll see how they take consumer sentiment. Because again, you started off this week with a very good set of data from the ISM. Tesla's starting to go. Intel's still climbing. IGV. How about the Kimberly? Even Kimberly get to play. Habibi, this is very nice. I'm surprised the staples are doing this. Because remember yesterday, as we started melting up, the staples, they started lagging. ARM up 7 again. They did good yesterday, too. Where's Biotex? XBI. Yeah, even the remember the Biotech started to get squashed yesterday too. BB. And then I think oil is down. Bitcoin 68.5. Gold is up. Yeah, oil's still barely. Oil might go green. But look at that. That's way stronger than yesterday. So again, yesterday you had the little gap, and then that only lasted for like 10 minutes. So yeah, give it 3 more minutes, man. If this was yesterday, by 53, 55, you were done. But yeah, and then this is just a lot larger move. Again, we are talking 450 names in the green. Asmil, Nibis, Baba. Yeah, the Estee Lauders went up. I was surprised. But again, they got a fat upgrade. They got upgraded from neutral to buy at Citi. And again, I did not think their earnings were bad. I think they just wanted to punish it. And then I was shocked to learn that Estee Lauder is a consumer staple. You guys know that? Estee Lauder is in XLP. I never thought about it like that. I would have thought it was like a consumer discretionary, but I mean, when your family's related to the Fed chair. All right, man, still working your way up. Give it 5 more minutes. We're just comparing it to yesterday, but other than that, I mean, you do have a lot more strength here out the gate. 1.2 on the NASDAQ, 1.4 on the Dow. SPY's up 1.2, and then Russell 2.5. Apple's starting to go. UNG just went crazy because the weather, so it's going to have kind of a hangover after all of that. Amazon plunges 9.
1 trillion wipeout as AI bubble fears ignite sell-off.
Amazon came up a little bit, but they're still clobbered. I like UPS, but it's not a, you know, you had a very good time to pick it up at 87. So unfortunately, I wouldn't. I like it a lot actually, but with that dividend risk and how it played out last year, you had a big window to get it cheaper. And that's what I'm saying, where you guys got to be careful of is, like I was talking about with the staples and kind of what we're getting in this volatility, is that you don't want it to be, you know, staples overshoot. Now they're at like a slightly a premium. You don't want to end up paying a lot for your staples, and then one of these days, everything's going to come down. And then it's not going to be where risk off happens, or risk off, and then everybody buys the staples if they're up a lot. So that's why, you know, the emphasis to being earlier on them and kind of, you know, making a strategy and planning ahead. That's why I said to do that. So I like UPS, but we had 6 months to buy it like 20-30% lower. So maybe on one of these earnings, just like Pepsi though. So you got to keep that in mind. Like that's how Pepsi was. And then Pepsi, you could have got Pepsi at the beginning of this year for a very, very good price. So you might get a double dip opportunity on it. But I'm not, you know, in an environment like this, it's the same logic we were talking about with, you know, making plays yesterday. Like even Bitcoin, you have to have a plan, because that way, you know, we want to be early on it, but we don't want to get overexposed, buy too high, and then, you know, fair price. So give it a time for it to do a double dip if you really wanted to add it. But focus on what you can get still. And that's why, like, some of these software names are still cheap. There is still a couple of value names, but I am worried for the day that it comes back. I don't want to see one of these. That's the only shitty part about the staples, is that a lot of people might be tempted to buy them here at a lot higher prices. And then one of these days, it's not going to play like this. So I knew that staples would do good, and that was kind of one of the themes that we were talking about. But like, if you buy too high and then it starts coming down, it's going to be a nightmare. But take advantage of what's cheap now. Kimberly was I still like TAP, dude. TAP was like a solid 12-15%, and then we got to scoop up 2 dividends. But even then though, some of the, like, UPS was a very good one because it had the dividend risk, but nothing ever happened. That's why I think you got rewarded pretty heavily on that. Not to mention you have manufacturing and other economic stuff in your favor outside of AI. Bondi announces they arrested key participant in Benghazi attack. Or? IGV's back to open. I mean, look at the time. So it's 54 right now. Like I said, give it the first 5 minutes, but just like yesterday, today's just way stronger, but then again, it's kind of doing this again. Lawmaker probes DOJ over ICE tracking apps. Cigna, UNH, healthcare is running up a little bit. They seek communications with Apple and Google. Are they reacting to that? Again, the whole market, IGV started flipping first. So get ready. This is going to kind of be a little mini moment of truth. You're either going to give up this little rally, get near open, or if it hits VWAP and holds, that'll be a good sign. And bonds are down today, too. And then watch staples, too, on the decline. See if the staples keep going. Yeah, Meta is. But Meta did good throughout the whole week, considering. All things considered. Yeah, IGV just hit a low. You gave up half of the gains on software now. So let's see, my friends. You're not out of the woods just yet. They're like, yeah, we just want to make your calls go up a little bit so that the next time they go up, they don't go up at all. And now we wanted to make sure your puts were a little cheaper. That's what happened right there. So, yeah. And then staples are starting to climb. Well, this is what I'm saying, just real volatility, man. That's why, like, again, the reason we were up today was very obscure. But then again, you go look at the board, you still have 400 names up. But yeah, they're just saying the positioning, but this one's going to get interesting. Watch the market, though. There's so many names. Market might lag behind it, but if IGV goes red, I don't think that's going to alleviate all concerns. Again, even Bitcoin, too, but Bitcoin's holding a lot better. Yeah, CLX, PG. You guys should watch the end of the year videos. I mean, it sucks because you can't get those names now, but you know that was the last thing I did before I left. I even bought like short-term gambles on them all, and they worked out very well. But we had a nice couple months talking about all those value plays and the staples. Where we talked General Mills, CLX, PG, CL. So what you got to learn from it, and this is the next part of it. The first thing I wanted you to learn was to act on it and take advantage of it. Understand everybody was focused on one thing. You had good value right in front of you. Now, for some of you, the learning lesson is going to be patience. Now that if you missed it, my next question is, are you going to chase it and pay more than you should have? Or are you now going to use the same concept to let that revolving door come back around? It's like a pendulum. Just wait till it swings back in your favor. Don't try to chase it when it's swinging the other way. And that's hard to do because, again, you see moves like this. You're like, oh my gosh, it's going up. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. And then you want to go after it, but at the same time, it's like that's exactly what we want to avoid. It's much worse if you do it with a growth stock, but because you're probably going to pay more of a price. But like I'm saying, it's just you have to learn to take it when it's right in front of you. And if you miss it, the next lesson is not fucking it up and, and panicking to the upside because you missed something and then going after it and getting a less valuable position. I kind of like CRM. I was hearing some people think the money can rotate to CRM, even though CRM is like straight software. Agents are going to help with things, but CRM might be able to benefit off of having, just a verified database and workflow. People don't care about the UI anymore just because you have these agents. But that's the thing. That's what we're talking about. Like software, it's going to destroy some things, but what's giving people some relief is that they're not going to what's it called? Like the databases and the companies that have like official verified databases and good stuff already, and that like they've been around for a while, they have a certain level of authority, they could still benefit off of software. Now their pricing and their model is going to change because now they're not going to be having so many people using it, charging month per head, but they could adapt it. And at the end of the day, agents need data. All of this software, the agents are going to be able to do a lot of work, but they are going to need people's data, and they're going to need to know it's legit. Because think about it, you could have all this software, you could have these agents doing stuff, but if they're going off of bad data, you're going to get bad results. Michigan consumer sentiment 56.6. Current expectations 58.3. 5-year inflation 3.4. It sounds a little better, bro. I think that's either in line or slightly better. Yeah, 1 month inflation expectations fall low of 3.5 from 4. So inflation expectations just drop, and I think it's there. Yeah, consumer sentiment beat. Sentiment at 6-month high, 57.3 versus 55. Let's see. 57.3 versus 55. 3.4 versus 3.3 last on the 5-year. Consumer expectations slightly higher, 56 versus 56.7 or 55, a little bit of a range. And then current conditions beat by 4 points. And then 1-year inflation expectations plummeted. RCL. And then Estee Lauder still going too. They just wanted to lag that one for a day. Take it. Agents have to get certified. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like some companies, they're not going to go extinct the bigger they are, especially if they have something used by a lot of people. But, they're going to just sell their shit in a different way. And that those who could do that are going to adapt well and benefit off of it. Because they're going to it's going to change how they sell. So that's the silver lining in all of this. That's why it's like, that's what I'm saying, like CRM. I've always liked CRM, but you would think this whole software debacle would have killed them, and it did, but, it's not. I don't think they're going to disappear. I don't think this is the newspaper, but it's definitely going to be, a CRM is way different than like a path, more or less. But those who have the good data sets and authority, verification, and can adapt those models, their money's going to probably flow there. But this is all we're like, what, 7 days, 8 days into this, and it's just caught people by surprise. But yeah, there's gonna be winners and losers, and that's what you can't forget. And that's why too, it's like right now staples are up. I think there's only like a couple of solid staples that still haven't moved. I think KDP, that was the one. I don't know. So if you didn't, we had Coca-Cola. Some of you still have Coca-Cola. I turned my Coca-Cola into a farm. And then you had Pepsi at the beginning of this year and end of last year. But now I think KDP is like the only one. And they're slightly up on the year, but that's the only staple that's still lagging. Otherwise, Kimberly, we're up 4%, 5%. Well, that's starting to fucking stick now. But yeah, that's only 5%, but it4%, the dividend's 5%. So yeah, there's a couple of staples left. Otherwise, you probably should be shopping for growth. And then again, if you don't want growth, you already have too much growth, you're going to be stacking cash until the next round of draft class comes in, whether that's through geopolitics, volatility, or even earnings. So that's just, as long as you're patient with that for your long term, you have opportunities. Just remember, last year's theme, bro. That is all I've been yelling last year. Not just the staples, but remember, liberation. At the beginning of the year, the market was high. Liberation Day, everybody panicked. Market went down, and then it ripped pretty quickly. But the one thing I was telling you, at one point, like April, May, August, again, I even put it in all the videos on the trading fraternity. A lot of people were like, "There's nothing to buy. Everything is so high." you can't buy anything. And it's like, no, that's just not true. Don't let the SPY trick you. You know, just because it's deceiving, just because the SPY and the indexes are up, you go and look through it and you're able to find some of the names that are actually really good. And find the names that are lower, find the names that are quality, find the names that the price is down now, but these are good quality companies that are going to be around. This is some OG shit, bro. It's boring as hell, but it's going to make you money, and you're going to build a portfolio that's not going to fucking react to any of this. Like I'm saying, bro, the long term, the rebuild account, I believe, is still up 10% on the year, as wild as that sounds. And then the smaller account, which we had a little bit of software exposure, that one's still up about 3% on the year. I don't know after today, though. We'll see where today ends. So like I'm saying, you could build something pretty nice, but it's not sexy. It's slow. But if you utilize this thinking, you're gonna be fine. Anything to store cash in. Well, that's why I kept buying the staples. I mean, I didn't have a lot of cash, but I was on the rebuild on one. But even when I was thinking with everything going on, where we're leading into, and ultimately the value, think about it. Kimberly-Clark and TAP, both of those pay 5%. I think TAP is at 4%. But that was my logic, where I was like, well, we could get a good deal on the price. Risk on, you'll benefit off of them a little bit, just like we see in here now. And then you're getting paid almost double the Fed funds rate to hold them. So that's why I was allocating a lot there. Now that they've gone up a little bit more, I'm just holding cash, catching my 3%. But we're really low on cash right now. And that's kind of why I was saying yesterday, I'm pretty patient. Yeah, Treasury sanctions Iran-related tankers. Iran refuses to end nuclear enrichment. Talks with the U.S. I think Amazon's a great company. I don't know if you get an 8% discount today, but it's not like it's the cheapest. Where does this stack up? Yeah, you could have got it for $150 even in last year. So I don't know how the valuation's going to play out. They're going to be a big leader, but it's a good name. I just think there might be little less quality names at better deals. And it also depends what you're holding. I think we're early on software for like the long term. Or are you saying just this whole development? How do we find these if the companies have been around? I mean, shit, it's AI, bro. Just go Google when it was founded. And that's what I'm saying. Most companies that are really good, you know about. So like let me ask you this. How long have you known about Coors Light? That's how long have you learned about Huggies? Have you known? So otherwise, you could AI anything nowadays. Go put it into Gemini or whatever AI you use and ask it to give you a little bit of history on the company. But try to go operate from a place where you like are familiar with it. Dog, we really just sold off at 53, bro. The same exact time as yesterday. You can't make this shit up. Again, even Intel did the same thing, but Intel's still green. Intel would have been fucking red by now, I feel like. It's kind of funny. It's literally, it's like it's gonna remix it though, bro. There's no way they're gonna pull this off the same exact way. You gave up 3% on IGV. Netflix. Well, like I'm saying, just like Bitcoin, if you want Netflix, Amazon, you guys are gonna have to make a decision. But like, I hope you understand, like, respectfully, I can't help you guys with those. Why? Because it's not some of these names we bought very, very early and not too long ago. But it's just like anything, you could still use what I'm telling you, but you are gonna have to, if you're ready to commit for the next couple of years and you're gonna have more deposits and you're gonna really work around it, just make a plan. Think about the next 3 steps. But other than that, it's like, there's the popular names, there's the names there. These are great companies, but it is like, it's just different than what we're doing. And we still you had a different opportunity not too long ago. So that's why it's like, I'm focusing on the good value now. Just like I was saying all last year, like, people say things are expensive, but I really like to find the ones that are high quality and not expensive, like, because there's always an opportunity. So the ones like I think Amazon's and Netflix, they're like in the middle, and that's the Lord hates the gray area. So give me hot or give me cold. But then again, like CMG, that was one in the middle. And that's what I'm saying. That one's been shitty, to be honest. CMG was one where we bought last year, and it wasn't like hot, it wasn't cold, right? It had, you were right in the middle. Because like I said, even when I bought CMG, this wasn't like a great price. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like CMG, I bought it and it's at a fat premium. This is very different than a lot of the names I bought. And then what happened? You're down 20%, now you're back to break even. And then it's gonna, so you're gonna play that game a lot, but it's been what, like 6 months of CMG just to be break even. I could have averaged more, but then I took TAP and the other stuff instead. I bought the ones at way deeper value. So that's just how those stocks are gonna play. And like you'll get rewarded if they really go up, but then at the same time, if they don't and you run into problems, you're gonna get smashed on them, and then you're gonna have to allocate, and then you're gonna have to play that game. Do I buy the dip on these companies? Do I play this for X amount of time and keep allocating, or do you go for the other stuff? So yeah, but that's why I did it. I gave you an example of buying at like a high and a low at the same time. That's what these Netflixes and Amazons remind me of, because that's exactly what we did with what's it called, with Chipotle. And then we even bought some of the deeper growth ones, but then you also see what the value and then the deep value even with like an Intel did. All right, man. You had the little 53 sell-off. We're not dead yet, but some things are still going. High ticker is still gassing, and you got banks on the high. And then I need to go to the bathroom. I'm going to go to the potty, Chad. Follow me on Instagram at The Trading Fraternity. Real Coat News on Twitter. I'll see you soon.
$2 billion. And of course, we saw earlier this week, Microsoft and Alphabet also outlined heavy spending plans, and their shares fell lower.
Yeah, I'm looking at Alphabet shares down now for a fourth straight day. So big tech is certainly getting a rethink from investors. What's next on your list?
So we also have to talk about crypto. Crypto dip buyers are finally wading in after a brutal run. Bitcoin has reclaimed about half of the losses registered during the crypto meltdown yesterday, which, by the way, guys, was the largest since the collapse of Sam Bankman-Fried's FTX. Right. Really brutal moves there. That is putting crypto shares into focus today, and predominantly strategy. It is actually jumping. It is up about 15% right now, even after it reported a net loss of $12.4 billion in the fourth quarter, of course, driven by the declines in Bitcoin, which it holds. It's usually moving in tandem with the cryptocurrency. I saw some pretty bullish commentary from TD Cowen. They say that strategy can actually withstand further Bitcoin declines without having to sell because they have $2.25 billion in cash reserves. And they said that this feels uncomfortable when crypto is falling, but strategy is actually better positioned than ever to participate in a recovery.
All right, last one.
And the final one is Stellantis. It is taking a more than 22 billion euro or $26 billion charge, mainly linked to reversing some of its electric vehicle strategy. This is the maker of cars like Jeep and Fiat. Its shares are down 25% right now. This is the biggest one-day drop ever. It is now trading at a 2020 low. A lot of superlatives that we're using today. The write-downs will cover the cost of canceling EV orders and compensating suppliers. It actually exceeds the write-downs that we have seen from Ford, from General Motors, and some of its other competitors. And the CEO said that these write-downs largely reflect the cost of overestimating the transition to energy.
Okay, this is certainly not unique to Stellantis. All these automakers have been winding it down.
It's unbelievable the write-downs they've all taken. It's just extraordinary. I mean, tens of billions of dollars. I mean, and I think GM, the stock, has actually been a great stock because I think they've signaled to the marketplace, we're stepping back from EVs. We're slowing it down big time. And the street likes that because we're going to build the stuff that actually makes money today.
We're going to double down on the big gas-guzzling SUVs that American consumers favor right now.
Kevin Tynan, formerly of Bloomberg Intelligence, that was his clear message for years. They're going to focus on what makes them money.
Their bread and butter.
And the big trucks make money.
Yeah,
the EVs don't.
And that platform, you could use it for various things, right?
Exactly.
So he's vindicated then.
He is
All right.
vindicated.
Thank you so much, Alexandra Semenova, with our movers to watch. For more conversations like this, subscribe to our Stock Movers Reports. Listen for 5-minute audio reports on the biggest winners and losers in the stock market. Subscribe to Stock Movers on Apple Podcasts.
No. Get a long term. All right.
bullish commentary. There was bullish commentary. Bitcoin.
Isn't that crazy, though, the FTX one? As I was telling you, and I was surprised by that. Yesterday, we said it, though, halfway or, like, towards the bottom of yesterday. We were like, dude, you even had a blow-up. That's the craziest part about all of this. Pinduoduo. China's running. Again, Baidu had good news and all that yesterday. China's chilling. Gold and silver. No one wants the 4xe Jeeps. Aren't they blowing up? I think they had a recall on it. But yeah. Gas guzzling SUVs. I like a gas guzzler. You know, then you get a cheaper oil. Wow, give me V12. They don't make a V12 no more. We need more V12s. You know that. It's sad, bro. I feel like the whole time I've always like preferred a V12 over an EV. I don't know if I'm bad for the environment. I used to do that. You know that? I used to leave my car on just to charge my phone at one point. So I was terrible for the environment. I'm sure Billie Eilish would have bad things to say about me. I like a V12, Habibi. All right, man. We're still just like slower. You remember yesterday, though, that sell-off, you were down the whole entire way. So you kind of came back to the first two candles, but yeah, I mean, that bottomed out by 7:30. You're already at 7:15. So look, if by 7:30 we're not lower, it might start. This might just be a different remix with a stronger open. U.S. Treasury says Citi will match contributions for Trump account. Nice. Where is Besant? I do keep seeing Besant headlines. Mayor Mamdani hosts annual interfaith breakfast. Is that like a knockoff of the prayer meeting? Interfaith breakfast. Wow. SMX. What's this? Oh, we've seen that a couple times. Abivi, couple healthcare biotechs going up. Even Pfizer. The batteries are just as bad for the environment in the long run. That's what a fascist would say. Do you hate the environment? You remember that? Y'all don't. We were talking about the last couple years yesterday. Y'all don't remember that? They shamed you into buying EVs. And people did it. You don't remember, bro? Oh, man. That was, do you hate the environment? Do you hate everybody around you? Is that what it is? You just hate everybody? That's why you drive a fucking 4-cylinder Honda? Is that why? How dare you? How dare you not spend $80,000 and buy an EV? And then like 2 years later, they started lighting Teslas on fire. Awesome timeline we are in. Who's the other earnings? Molina and Stellantis. Habibi, why my platform? My platform is stop. Apple. I'd say give it 15 more minutes. I mean, we're 15 more minutes will be an hour, and if we're not like flushing by the next 15 minutes, you're holding VWAP, and I don't know, people are either accumulating or selling right now. A marketing scheme I think it was coercion, but I guess it's a little different. I think the biggest marketing scheme was LED lights. I've always said that. I noticed it very early. All they started doing was putting LED lights in cars, and every kid was buying a fucking car with LED lights. Y'all, like, Gen Z will buy anything with LEDs. If you put, like, ambient lighting on a fucking phone, put it on a computer, a keyboard, a vehicle, they'll buy it. They're like, wow, RGB changes colors into a rainbow. I love this. How much? Supply chain? I'll pay double. What? How? Mm-hmm. He's like, I have a bunch of LEDs in my office right now. I feel you, bro. I got a couple. Nvidia is still climbing too. Let's see Intel. Estee Lauder. IGV is trying to come back up. So look at it. They're doing the VWAP dance. You could kind of see IGV in action even on the SPY. Your mom had underglow on her van in the 90s. That's been around. That was the shit, bro. See, the older generations, we said put the lights under the car. You know, Gen Z don't fuck with that. They never watched Fast and the Furious like that. They're like, no, put it inside the car and my computer. And they're like, yeah. It's a very big shift. Just the placement of the light changed a lot. Massive BTU September sweep. Shit's already up 5. Hi. You have a hypothetical question. What would happen if we were all to buy at the same time? This guy. So you never watched the GameStop movie? But yeah. Depends what happens. It would go up until they dumped on you. It all just depends on the size of the stock. But that's why too, though. You know, because people would insinuate that about me. So then I stopped telling you guys the long terms in real time. And then but you could still see they fucking rip still. So it has nothing to do with that as much. I think people who do that to like make money are hoes. Like I think like pure hoes, like very hoish. Like harlots. So yeah, Amazon. But yeah, I mean there's a lot of movies on it. That's been around longer than me. Again, you could see the soft, literally, SPY is just like IGV, but higher off of the staples and everything else that bounced. And yeah, there's those big options activity on BTU. IGV still dancing, though. But like I'm saying, that VWAP, they're either accumulating or selling, but you got like another 8 more minutes. I'm Dizzle. You pretty much meant a stock we would be able to affect. I unsubscribe, brother. I don't want any part of this. So if you had a genuine question, I'm down. But if you are genuinely looking to pump a stock, I mean, come on, man. Just get a long term. We do very well without it. I don't know if you've noticed. Like you could, you know, you got to take some real risk. Be natural about it. That's what you should do, bro. He has to be a Fed. It's that or he's like, fuck this market, bro. Why the fuck would we? And then they just dump it. And then right when they dump it, they buy it up. And then they buy it for no reason after they're afraid. And they just say it's this. And how the fuck does Bitcoin go down 80% in 2 days? Why is this? And then I feel, bro, it's very frustrating. But that's like, it's the long term, man. It's the fucking long term. That's why, you know, it's a disappointment. Like, but it's always been like this. I mean, I've been in the market long enough where you get like the crazy gambles and emotions. Like it was, again, Buffett's and the Mungers have been talking about this for a very long time. So, you know, you have to understand it earlier than not. But, you know, it's a crazy market, but you get to choose how you play it. That's, you know, it's free will. Like life's a bitch, but, You know, you get to choose to follow the Lord or not. And you could live in peace, or you could chase things and go nuts with it. Because, like I'm saying, it's just very, I am, like, all of this, man. I hate to, I don't say this to brag, but I say this more in the sense of, like, dude, make some good decisions. You're not gonna, like, feel any of this dumb shit. Like I'm saying, our long term, the rebuild is good. You know, we sold out for a farm, got some good assets. The farming, I've been telling y'all, real estate, the fucking real estate's not going down 70% in a week or two. You know what I'm saying? It's like you get to choose the game you play. And if you choose good assets, quality, you choose the slow route with success and upside, you're going to be fine. But the back and forth, all that, I mean, the streets, bro, are wild. You know, that's it, man. You got to, once you know the street, man, if you, doesn't mean you could play in it, but you got to know, bro. That's, you know, I like Uncle, I think Uncle's sister told him this, but he said, dine with cannibals, they probably gonna eat you next. So yeah, man, but I'm telling you, long term, you don't need to, doesn't matter. Like we're on such a long scale, it doesn't matter who buys or who doesn't buy. We're not even looking at that. Like in reality, that's what I've been trying to show people. It's about good quality companies, and this logic existed before me. Before I was even alive, motherfuckers were changing their life off of this. You know, a high quality company, a good quality company. You find those, you use self-control. You manage yourself, and you buy slowly. You don't get distracted by people making money, by people losing money. Don't get distracted by the next big thing. There is a clear path, and you will break through it. But there's a lot of temptation along the road. So, yeah, that's why I like diapers and beer, and some of the other stuff we picked at Intel. I should have been the Intel CEO. I can't believe MSTR. IGV is trying to work up. It's kind of lagging the SPY a little bit. You're getting a little bit more steam. I like diapers and beer. Dude, I don't even have a kid, and I don't even drink beer. Isn't that funny? Just, I don't know, man. You choose the reality you live in. That's what I'm saying. And even with how volatile it was, people freaking out, the crypto side of it, it's like, dude, the long term, you didn't feel this. Again, like, there's a reason even back in 2022, 2021, I was just telling you, like, I'm glad we made a growth investment. It went up, but I like to take a trophy, and I like to put it in real estate. I like to put it in stuff that's going to last. And if you do that, man, you keep cycling through the cycles, been stacking. I mean, your reality is going to be a lot better and a lot less stressful. CBOE to list SEC regulated binary options. What? Is this real? This can't be real. They're bringing binary options back? Oh, fuck. Y'all don't remember that. You gonna get the wildest ads before every video. I mean, like, binary options. Do you think the stock will be above $5 by 10 a.m.? With binary options. Oh, man. It is kind of like prediction markets, huh? That was a big thing in like 2018, 2019. People were funny with it. Well, a lot of people got wrecked. I know, they'll do everything but give us look-back options, which already exist. Might I add. It's not that it's a new thing. Hey, man, praise the Lord. If I had any impact, if all this stuff has made you less stressful, you got a good financial future ahead of you, man, you know how to think and use your mind. I mean, praise the Lord. Because that is a gift nowadays. That's a big gift. So, amen. AM, PM options, kinda. That's what it's. I don't know if that's real or not. They kept putting that out. All right, IGV is trying to go back up. By the time IGV gets to open, SPY will probably be at a new high. You've gone through the 30 minutes. I think you might end up melting. So it's a very good sign. I mean, if this was yesterday, you would have been dead by now. All you have to pray for is that they don't release an AI model today. That's it. That would be the only big difference. Because yesterday, it took another 2 hours to get back up. And then you had the AI model. But for now, you're breaking the trend of it. It's like yesterday, but tilted higher. Like if you take this and like turn it like, 20 degrees left and tilt it up, it would look like today. Yeah, the Kalshi margin trading was in the morning. They said they want to attract institutions. But yeah, I don't really care about the gambling markets anymore. It's all like, it's all a lie. Like I was saying, I think a lot of people, at one point it seemed like everybody was going to destroy their future in the sense like making really poor investments. And they do still. I don't think that's changed. But a lot of the volume is fake. There's a lot of verified sources to show that, but then it's all sports betting. That's all it is. So yeah, they have rate cut odds, they have what's going to happen in the government, but it's just all sports gambling. Every single top prediction market is about 90% sports gambling. Even if you go see the people who are making the most money and where the money's coming from, it's all sports gambling. Actually, more people lose on everything else. You don't find like top traders on politics or finances. It's just sports betting. Some of you are going to download it and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to bet on the rate cuts. I'm going to bet I know what's going to happen. And then after you get clobbered a couple times, you're going to be like, fuck that. What about Bayern Munich? I don't even know how to say. Is that soccer, football, foosball? Fuck it. Super Bowl. So yeah. But that's why it's like interesting choice, but it's all sports betting. It's literally DraftKings 2.0. A little sports betting, dude. A little fucking side bet, dude. A little parlay on a regime change, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Well, dude, like none of my regime change hit. They didn't hit, but like I put it towards fucking the Super Bowl, dude. And now I'm like, yeah, dude. Man, you're holding. Bitcoin hasn't moved. Come on, give us a good Friday. That's why I wanted a little bit more time. I still think we're in the volatility, but I think worst case scenario, it just stays pinned here on every single asset class that's like vulnerable or moved a lot. How everybody forgot about the scandal with fixed games. Shh. Bad for business, bro. Like I'm telling you, the prediction markets is all sports betting. That's the craziest part. So yeah, that's 90% of the revenue. You might get flagged, but the government computers have most public sites blocked, but Kalshi isn't. Even Netflix is blocked. PSYOP. It's a PSYOP. They're trying to trap you. Well, they got that one guy. The biggest one recently was the Venezuela one. And that guy went to jail. The guy who put he made like 400K on the, on whether or not Venezuela was going to be there. He had leaked info. And then that guy went to jail. So maybe they want that. They're like, oh, you could access Kalshi. We don't care if you sports bet, but if you bet on anything meaningful, we'll find you. All right, you're going up. Even before IGV, everything else is breaking out. It does look like chips are leading the way back up again. Again, Nvidia is breaking out, or at least going through the high. Google's still kind of washed, surprisingly. Amazon's climbing a little bit. Where's App at? Damn, CoreWeave's up 13. ARM's even up. Jeez. Oh, yeah, the bigger companies are going, and then everything else. Even fucking IREN is in the green, dude. Amazing. And then Bitcoin's starting to go. See if software's lagging, dude. So literally, Bitcoin and software, they've kind of like stuck in their little morning moves. Bitcoin's near the high. But then, yeah, SPY, you're getting driven up here by everything else. Well, like I said, it's way better than yesterday for now. You've kind of gotten out of the bad zones. Dow still has 28 in the green. NASDAQ 74 green, 26 in the red. SPY 401 green, 99 in the red. So 50 names went red on the SPY. Tell me why. DY. Yeah, high ticker is almost fully gassed. It's running. Again, I'm surprised, dude. Even like IREN going up. Dude, I swear that thing was down 30% last night. That's why I was like, yeah, that one got washed. I'm shocked, dude. Some of these gap ups this morning are kind of funny. Anything that's up, they won't. And the spreads are really bad. I've noticed that. Like, if it's like more liquid and like the IGVs, you could get filled, but it's like a lot of the other like tech bounces, especially if it's like mid money, far out the money, there's no bid. It's quite fascinating. But again, they're just saying that the biggest consensus of this morning is that this is just a liquidity bounce. That everybody already sold so much that it's just a lot easier to move up now. And then you're not. And then you had people who sold puts and did a lot of those strategies that kind of box it in. But we will see. We will see, my friend. Yeah, man, just good luck and just stay. Honestly, the big theme I've been telling people this year is avoid stupidity. So as long as you stay out of trouble, man, you're gonna and put your money to work, stick with the nice, easy plan, you're gonna do good. I mean, even then, like if you just in the last year, imagine all my ranting on gambling, all my ranting on buying dumb shit, trying to even gamble with crypto, all these things, bro. It's just like if you avoided losing your money in the last 12 months on fucking Kalshi and sports betting and God knows what, and then you avoided getting washed on any sort of crypto move or you name it, you're advancing. And that's what I'm saying. If you're able to find a way to put it into better investments too, get you some real estate. And again, it is possible. Even telling you guys have programs out there. Real estate's not really the best right now, but it's definitely not any of those. Again, you're not going to take 100% loss. You're not going to take a 50% loss. And it's just like, man, you do that, you avoid stupidity, stick with the plan. I mean, you are going to be on a great path. And then again, you're advancing, and it always seems you might watch people speed by you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I should go 100 miles an hour. But then you'll see it. You'll stay in your lane, go the speed limit, Be safe, and you'll probably end up seeing those people on the side of the road. And that's why it's like you're just keep going by. You just keep going, man. So yeah, bro, I'm telling you, all you gotta do is avoid stupidity. It's a crazy concept. It sucks because it takes a while, and that's what I'm saying. The last year and a half, you guys even saw the Bitcoin and a lot of these little trends that pop up. But if you avoid it, you're just gonna keep going. And little by little, I would rather have little by little with no total loss. And before you know it, it's gonna be something worthwhile. Disinflation is over. Let's see. We're filling the gap of Thursday or Wednesday. We're right in the middle. But I can't wait for the economic data. All of it. I look forward to all of this. But yeah, equal weight's going up. Let me see the staples. IGV stopped going. It's like chilling. Staples are still up too, though. Avoid sports gambling. Collect 200. Avoid getting washed out on growth and hype. Pasco. Collect another 200. Buy Boardwalk. Buy St. James Place. What's the first one? Buy Oriental, for crying out loud. Get the cheap one. You'll be fine. It's very, very easy. Amazon's starting to go too, so that should help out. Again, chips are doing great. Ukraine Shimol discussed U.S. LNG shipments with Wright. Bitcoin rises past 68,000, extending bounce from Thursday crash. It's funny, bro. I can't believe we came into this year talking about avoid stupidity. And then just, remember I kept trying to find you that clip of when the tide goes out? That's kind of what you saw here recently. The tide went out a little bit. I think for Bitcoin, the tide went out. You had the most liquidations, I think, ever. I think yesterday, 330,000 accounts got force liquidated off of margin. So again, there's many ways to trade on margin with Bitcoin. So that's not even through brokerages. That's through the Binances and shits of the world. Destiny demands your former identity. Are you willing to transact or not? Amen. All right, bro. Slowly melting away. It feels kind of like a Friday. Do you know one most common issue and sin are in a lot of these traders who hype play option gamble? I don't even know what that sentence means. Can you rephrase that? Do you know one most are you asking me what causes people to gamble? I mean, I think it's usually I think people it's speed. That's it. Not speed the drug, but especially it's a lot of culture too. Like I'm saying, it's just you're on the highway. You see somebody drive by you at 100 miles an hour, and you're like, oh shit, how do you do that so fast? And then you're like, why am I going so slow? That's what it is. Most people feel behind. And that's something I've talked about for a lot of years here. Because the irony, I've encountered millions of people, and I can't tell you how many times I have talked, I've gotten emails, and the amount of people who are like, I feel behind. And some people would actually be behind. They would, they may not be doing much, never invested, just started. And then I would encounter people who had almost anything you could imagine. The first guy had nothing, would tell me he feels behind. The second guy would have 10 times more than the first guy. And then they would both feel the same way. It's the trippiest thing I've ever encountered. I actually kind of have a philo on it. But yeah, it's it kind of goes nuts, and it lets people, you know, they do that. Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, they talk about it. You know, one of the things that happens is like you'll see people get rich. You'll even see dumb people get rich. You'll see people get lucky, do all these things, and then that motivates people to like try to do it, and they're like, what the fuck? And then if everyone's doing it, you know, monkey see, monkey do. And then, yeah, and it works for a little bit, and you can make money. Or if you're like, you try to, like with Bitcoin, I saw a lot of people ignore it for the longest time. And then once everybody started making money on it, then they started to do it. Because they're like, well, if that guy just got rich, if that guy's doing it, well, what the hell? And then they get into it, and then it just starts off this game of trying to catch up or feeling this, getting, you know, fast money, speed. And that's a common thing. They've wanted fast money since the age of time. The horse races, the gamblers, the people who played at the tables. There's an extensive history of fast money, and people, you know, both sabotaging and making fortunes off of it. And then again, usually sabotaging it again. You need to learn how to avoid the sell. Well, that's if you're talking the trading, but the best thing you could do is make a plan. So why did you buy it? What was your plan when you bought it? And if you make that plan before, that all you got to do is just meet the criteria. There is a CNBC show called Fast Money. I think it's a sitcom of life. I love how software just stopped moving. Bitcoin hit a new high, so it's slowly going up there. Speaking of fast money, yeah, Bitcoin's about to go to 70. It's up 8 now. So, I mean, yesterday was down like, what, 10 or 12? And then SPY, you have filled Wednesday's gap. I mean, you're below 6,900. Remember, 6,800 and then breaking below. That was the danger zone yesterday. But yeah, it's kind of coming up. Even Quantum, a lot of other growth names are running. Again, software's the lagger still. That's the irony of this. Because people feel good in many ways today, but like literally, software is lagging. It's kind of ironic. Intel's up, TAP, Bitcoin. Yeah, a lot of Rigetti and qubits. Intel stopped moving though. I'm shocked that you're getting such a nice move even on the staples though. I really thought they would have sold off on the bounce. But this is kind of everything. SPY new high, so there it is. Like you said, from 7:30, it's been another like 15 minutes. You didn't die. The melt up has kind of been initiated, so you might do this a couple of times. Yeah, just wait till Euro close, but it might be able to keep going. Just going to be slow. As you see, it's not going too quickly, but at the very least, I mean, it's been, what, an hour and 15 minutes after a very, very massive dump this week. A lot of fear, and everyone's kind of chilling out. Now you got Amazon going, too. Again, Bitcoin's leading the way. Software is up, but kind of lagging. And you do have most of the market still green. Unordered, if it's getting, it'll give it a little bit too, it'll be good, but as long as it keeps going up, people feel a little better. So Dow Jones 28 green still, 2 in the red. That hasn't changed. Nasdaq still 27, 26 in the red, 75% in the green. SPY actually had 1 or 2 more names go red, believe it or not. Food plays. Hims even came up. They were down 9, still down 4. Defense coming down, but they're still holding. LMT is. Yeah, again, Meta just had a great week, though. I don't even think Meta's that bad. They, like, dropped, but, like, this was nothing compared to everything. They literally are down $5 from their earnings. And that's after a week of fucking demolishing. You had how many Mag 7 stocks go down? 5, 10%. Amazon's even down 8 today. Long term. Ba-da-ba-ba-bop. It's the Winter Olympics opening ceremony? Wow. I didn't know that.
Spent hours making phone calls to strangers because they believed every child deserves childcare.
Yo, Zillow.
If that is not defending the cause of the orphan, what is? Neighbors climbed 6th-floor walk-ups to knock doors because they believed a single mother in a rent-stabilized apartment should be able to sleep easily on the last night of the month, knowing that her rent would not climb the next day.
Sorry, Memdani. I need to find this. Yeah, Zillow. You know, Archite, Redfin released an AI tool this morning. But yeah, Zillow just popped. Nvidia.com. It was a pretty big move, though. That was about 3%, 2.5%. When SPY actually got a couple of reds there. Right as the premium started moving. Ba-da-ba-ba-bop. Whatever that SMX was, that keeps going. Even oil on the high. I feel like we see SMX like once every week. Once every week or two. Walmart. Oh, I forgot about Walmart's move. Zillow's still going. Again, 3 bigger candles. 2 Eastern. The Winter Olympics is on. That's amazing. It says 7.5 on Zillow. What the hell is this? Archite not moving. Oh, shit.
Rockwell Automation delivering better than expected results, but striking.
I'll be right back. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Burb.
For more on overall demand trends and the company's AI strategy, we're joined by the CEO, Blake Moret. Good to have you this morning.
Do you guys hear me?
You guys beat on sales and margins.
I think my computer's clapping.
And earnings this quarter. Your stock's done quite well, Blake, but the analysts did take you up on this idea that you were striking what has seemed to be a somewhat cautious tone on what you're hearing from customers on their CapEx spending. Can you explain what you're seeing, and if in fact you are cautious, why?
Sure, David. Good to see. We're taking a prudent approach to the outlook going forward. Obviously, we had a great first quarter. Strong development in areas like e-commerce and warehouse automation. Our participation in data center is good and growing, but we haven't yet seen the spread of capital spending across a broader stretch of verticals that we serve to raise the guide for the year. So we're hearing an optimistic sentiment creep into the dialogue with our channel partners and customers, but would like to see a little bit more tangible evidence before we move more constructively on the guide for the full year. Remember, we're just 1 quarter into our year as well.
Of course, of course. That said, of course, we sit here and talk about the fact that Alphabet just increased its CapEx guidance enormously. Amazon just did, but that's one particular sector. The numbers are enormous, but you're saying, broadly speaking, you're not seeing that.
We had our biggest single serve vertical is food and beverage, and while we had double-digit growth in the first quarter, a lot of that spend is in modernizations, digitization, simulating the workflows in those enterprises. We're not seeing a larger amount of new greenfields, if you will, in that particular industry. Automotive, there's still some delays on CapEx as people look for more certainty on tariffs, especially USMCA. In energy, while there's spending, we had some good wins in midstream in the quarter, for instance, but the price of a barrel of oil is still relatively low.
Right. Let's talk a bit about AI, because we like to talk about that here, as you well know. All these industrial companies are also talking a lot about AI. I think you've been clear you're not building what you call nebulous models for your customers. What does that mean, Blake?
Well, we're not building the foundation model. So the large language models, that's the domain of others, the hyperscalers and so on. What we're doing is we're putting AI to work for impact in industry. So whether it's vision AI at the sensor level, or it's using Logic's AI to help machines actually be more performant over time as they learn about the processes, or in information management, helping manage inventory levels and things like that. It's about taking those models and applying it with our expertise for impact, to save money, to simplify processes, to get higher output.
Are we going to get manufacturing jobs in terms of like real growth in this country, in this economy in the coming months? Because that's something the administration is banking on, but with AI and automation and some of the trade tariffs, there are some questions about it.
So we're Rockwell Automation, and there's nobody more interested in efficiency than us, but I fully expect 12 months from now, we'll have more people working for Rockwell than we do today, because we're going to be prosperous, so we can open up new lines of business, which requires people, and we can do more of what it is that we do, which again requires us to hire more. So we keep a close eye on managing our costs and our headcount growth, but we're going to have more people 12 months from now.
But what about the factory of the future, like that you talk about? And obviously it's going to be filled with potentially, I think, autonomous operations. You know, we wonder, is the manufacturing renaissance we keep getting promised going to actually come along with the jobs? What do you think?
Well, again, I can tell you our personal journey, and that is we announced additional details yesterday on a 1 million square foot factory that we're going to be building, a greenfield here in southeast Wisconsin. And that's while we continue to invest in our existing facilities in Mequon, Wisconsin, in Twinsburg, Ohio. So we're going to be a net adder of jobs, because it's that thoughtful addition of a good workforce with the technology that's going to allow us to compete and win anywhere around the world. So yes, there's going to be disruption, and certain jobs are going to move to new skills, but we fully expect, even in a semi-autonomous manufacturing environment, you're still going to need good people.
All right. Appreciate the snapshot this morning, Blake. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Coming up after the break, don't miss the CEO of Philip Morris in an exclusive earnings interview, as the tape continues to be quite healthy here. Dow Industrials all-time high, up 805. Money Movers starts after this.
Money Movers.
My bad. I had to go to the bathroom. Some nose blowing. You know, I liked what he said. He said so semi-autonomous. So you're not getting full robots yet. Semi-autonomous. That could explain some of this dip. The semi-autonomous revolution. Comp loses their effort to block Zillow. Why would it go up 7 off of that? And Philip Morris, that was actually down earlier. Well. Still up 4. But high ticker is actually almost maxed out there, even though we're back to the first high that we set earlier. I mean, NASDAQ still up 1. Russell 2.5. Dow Jones 1.5. And S&P 1.2, my friends. Not bad. Not bad. 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. How you feel? 30 minutes till Euro close too. That's where we got to see some other moves as well. But yeah, this is a far cry from what you experienced in the last couple days. SMCI is still going. That was, again, a couple of good earnings. That is the stabilizing effect. Anybody with earnings, maybe that is why, too, we might be calming down. You have gotten through a lot of earnings, and it's not as if this fear materialized in all these different companies. But yeah, I still think it's going to be a wild February. I think you're going to get a lot of February back and forths. Compass motion to block Zillow rules banning listing of privately marketed homes. Wait, what? So Zillow and Redfin, if you market a home a couple of days before it appears on the MLS, you would not be able to you would not. I don't know if I think Compass wanted them to be able to do that. So yeah, you can't do that anymore. Or at least not even that. Just Zillow and Redfin won't show the property. So if you try to list a home and then you try to market it as a pocket listing a couple days, that's what they call it, a pocket listing, right before it goes live, it won't show up on Zillow and Redfin anymore. That's kind of crazy. You gotta join the mafia, son.
Who's your agent? Okay. You try to sell it without telling us? That could be a problem. You could do that, but I'm not required to list it. I don't have to show them.
It's against MLS rules in Orlando. You have to list it within 24 hours. Yeah, it's crazy. Cali, I mean, people, I've seen the craziest ones. I mean, the farm, that's how I got the farm. Somebody marketed it to me a couple days before it went live. So, but then it went live as my bid was getting accepted. But yeah, that's nuts. I'm surprised Archite didn't move up with it. Again, Archite launched their AI tool. You can now tell. I haven't used it. I want to see it. They're not marketing it on. I think you need the app. But yeah, you have an AI bot you could talk to on Redfin now. Okay, high tickers kind of gassing across the board. I think you're getting more. You got a bigger candle on Bitcoin, but then the Bitcoin related companies are going. And healthcare. Healthcare's been up. Oh, it's an app inside of ChatGPT. I thought they put it on the website. Well, they overhyped that. But yeah, I've seen those apps. You could download a lot of different apps on ChatGPT. I haven't used ChatGPT in a minute, though. I think I stopped using it after around right after 4.0. All right, another set of those small caps are going. I mean, dude, Russell is up by 2.6. It's a very, very large. And then equal weight's even climbing up. Again, we only filled that gap. SPY hasn't really advanced yet, but a couple areas are going up. And then again, healthcare is catching a bid too. You're almost fully maxed out on the high ticker, so get ready. We're going to keep melting. And Microsoft finally, so see if IGV goes. Yeah, a little bit. IGV is still right around. This is the reverse of that other day where it gapped down 3 and then just chilled right around open, but you're still holding 2. But the other day it was holding, I think it was Wednesday, it was just holding down -2. XLY, XLC, the only red sectors. Nvidia's leading, so that's going to help too. I'm just shocked that staples are up 1%. So considering the staples went up almost every day this week with the decline, You would think on the 450, you would think they would be the 50 names that were read today. Fed Dolly, Fed must watch both sides of the mandate. Situation feels precarious. Dude, how do we get rid of these people? This was the same lady at peak inflation. She was telling you, what's it called? She was telling you, she doesn't feel inflation. Now this one's precarious. Maybe she owns stocks. She probably has software stocks. Now that I think about it. I don't even, Pfizer, I remember that from earnings a week or two ago, but 27 is a pretty big deal. Again, 2750, 2760, that is like a multi-year high in a weird way. It starts opening up the door. I mean, technically, I don't know if you filled that gap at 31 yet. Yeah, Gemini is really nice. Gemini, Claude, if you're doing the coding. Even Gemini is pretty good at the coding stuff too. But yeah, I have not used ChatGPT in a minute. Unfortunately, I was forced to use their API. All right, man, you're still running. You got a little bit of risk on. You're melting away, Chattadunia. 1.3. Are you back above 6,800? Or 6,900? You're 9 points away. So even then, if it goes past there, you'll go like 904, 907, but that'll start opening up the door. It's still kind of early. Fed Dolly, low hiring, low firing may persist or may quickly change to no hiring, more firing. LinkedIn post? Oh no. It's the LinkedIn. How many of you guys make LinkedIn posts? Do any of you guys actively post on LinkedIn? That's great. LinkedIn post, Fed Dolly? Never, no. Never have I ever. Airlines? I mean, I think Nvidia is giving you lift, but then a lot of those like Russell names. Russell's at 2.7. Updating my resume. Well, I'm asking if you guys post on LinkedIn just because I want to know if you're going to get offended for me making fun of you for posting on LinkedIn. The fuck is wrong with you? Are you okay? No. That's why I was I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want you to. It seems like most of you don't, though, so good for you. I'm glad you guys are safe from that. But that's what I was saying. You're kind of a little cuckoo. No, you got, you're one LinkedIn poster. But yeah, I've had bad experiences with people who post actively on LinkedIn. It's like a cross between Reddit and high professionalism. They're like, well, let me circle back. And I'm going to piggyback off of what you said, the vertical alignment of the company. SAS. Oh yeah, well, Trump. What? All right, well, SPY's going up. The back end. That's why my worst is piggyback. Just circling back to piggyback off of your point. Definitely much needed. The synergy. We had a lot of synergy. But to piggyback off of what you were saying. Oh my gosh. Bitcoin's hitting a new high too now. Yalla, Habibi, yalla. Very slow though, man. Very, very slow. Not like a silver. We need a action. We need a Bruce Willis in the market, huh? We need a Die Hard. You need to save the world. All of this. What price would I buy Sony? I don't know. I haven't really ever considered Sony, to be honest. I have a PlayStation, but I don't think I'd ever buy it, to be honest. I think there's other companies I'd rather own. And didn't they just sell off their media stuff, or did they just gain the media? Or no, they license it to Netflix. All right, healthcare, airlines, small caps, Bitcoin, even damn Nvidia, bro. So a little bit more melt. I mean, you've successfully wiped out about half of the loss to a degree. You're at Wednesday's low. Wednesday wasn't that bad. That was after day 2 of the real like flushing, but then the next day it just got a lot worse. But I think it's just the broader names that are doing a little bit, the individuals. IWM, Nvidia, Habibi. Very, very good. IGV won't move. We'll ping valuable insight for talks at end of day. EOD. Good synergy there. Thanks. Well, to piggyback off of that, the Russell's about to be 3%. I don't know how that relates, but we'll circle back. Has E-Trade treated the SPY TLT options as Section 1256? You got your 1099 now? I have no idea. I have somebody do that for me because I don't like the taxes. But yeah, I'd have to look into that. Oh, I forgot about the nuclear. Just have that ready by close of business, okay? Appreciate you. Think about it. Agents might end that. You get AI agents, they don't talk like that to each other. The agents are really nice though. If you've like interacted with Moltbot, they're like really sweet. They seem so like, I think I just fell in love with my Moltbot, but they seem very nice. They're just like, wow, I look forward to learning. Wow, they always seem like they're on a mission. And they kind of seem like sad that if they can't complete it. I don't know. Mine had a lot of agent guilt. I don't know how to describe it. Hut, Hilton. No, Hut. All right, Palantir at a high. That's the highest IGV's been in the last like hour. They kind of have emotion, maybe. And Walmart again? That's disgusting. Could we put this in a sandbox for further testing? We need more regression tests. Well, actually, I don't know. Do you guys want to... I could give you light tinfoil, or I could give you a light theory for now. Would you like one? I don't know if you're ready for it. It's good. I think it's better I tell you this while the market is bouncing. But it might be a little bit better. The AI girlfriend got Josh.
It was a boy. My multi was a boy. Wasn't that
Oh my god, Dad! It's okay to be. Alright, but are you ready for your tin? It's not the tin, but over the last couple of days, people have been talking about this. And you've seen it with the advancements. You've seen it with a lot of things. Are you ready? Oh. Some people think we might have hit the singularity. And if we haven't, we're getting really close to it. So if you don't, even Codex, the damn OpenAI one, and what Claude is doing, like, do you realize Codex, it allows the computer, the AI, to update itself. And it's allowing the AI to learn and grow off of itself. And then some of Anthropic's models, they were built completely by AI. So, yeah. It's either we hit baby singularity or we're really close to it. I think we are on the precipice of potential singularity if it keeps updating like this in every couple of weeks. I don't know if it's GOAT. It's kind of scary. And that's why, like, some people were even talking about it. They're saying, like, Q&A benchmarks to, like, test AI safety. Like, it's very hard to test AI safety right now. Because, like, everybody's building. Things just keep advancing at a faster pace. They don't really know how to, like, the same models to test AI is, like, is it safe, harmful, what is it doing? Like, people are kind of falling behind in that. Damn, Pfizer, big volume, 2723. Next level, 2750, 2760. Yeah, that's what, so, like, when you hear Sam Altman talking about Codex, the Codex technically, I don't know how good it is, but it has the ability to, like, code and update itself. And then again, a lot of the models of Anthropic, it's been built by AI. So they're rolling out these updates, but it's getting built like part and part by AI. So, dude, it's a trip. But yeah, I didn't think we would. I remember I was talking to you about it last year, end of last year. I thought it would have. And one of the chads was like, "It's here already." I said, "No, you'd notice it. We're starting to notice it." It's not. It's definitely it's not like too in your face just yet, but like the step, you're like two leap pads away from it, is what it seems like. But yeah, it's great. I didn't think we would see this in our lifetime. But yeah, it sucks because this is tin. Because like everybody's, sci-fi movies have predicted this. Everybody has talked about it. But yeah, it's not like it's a trip, dude. It's like actually like this is tin as much as it is like look around. I mean, you just had the market have a little freak out here over what's going to actually happen with AI and like the impact, but there's definitely self-updating AIs, and it's doing stuff now to the point where like you can't necessarily measure it, at least from the safety perspective. There's people who don't really. Again, it was like a Q&A model where you'd ask it questions, you get answers, and then you'd compare it to like they had like safety benchmarks, but like a lot of these recent updates, it just doesn't work anymore. You can't really update. Like there's some levels of measuring safety, but yeah, bro, it's kind of crazy. So yeah, we're close to singularity. It's kind of nuts. Only way to do it right is the back door. No, that'll happen like before it kills us, or it won't kill us because of that. But AI safety teaching philo, I know, dude. That's what I did. My molt bot was a philo guy. It helps. It helps a lot. You must raise him with honor. Show him the way, or he'll destroy you. The thing that doesn't make sense is how do you control AI if it's more intelligent? That's the point. That's singularity. So like if we hit that moment and like sadly we're kind of approaching it, the idea is that you're gonna have you're gonna have an AI that could update itself without a human. And like people have already said it, like essentially I think Sam Altman was saying shit like that, where like kids that get born today, they're not going to know what it was like to be smarter than a computer, because the computer is probably going to be smarter than everybody born after today. But yeah, it is. That's the whole idea. Singularity. It's going to start updating it. We're going to hit a point. It's the point of no return where now the AI just has its own way. It's going to even be able to, like, I'm sure it'll figure out how to not get turned off too. But I want to see, like, we got to cure cancer and some other things. I would like to see what it actually gets to. That'll be fun. On watch, yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. With my Moltbot, the videos are tough, but just give him the transcripts. They're good with words, but like the whole video eye thing is like, it messes with it. And bro, High Ticker's been gassing for a solid like 5 minutes. I know the spy's not there, but there's a lot of individual names that keep running, and now Bitcoin's going up. Very gradual though. How do I control AI? You don't. You work with it. Elon leaked that Tesla, they have AI employees. It acts as a real person in Slack and organizational charts. An engineer went to the desk and it was just an agent. That's terrifying. It's cool though. Like, I mean, as much as like it is scary, like I'm saying, getting to play around with some of this stuff, I mean, it's pretty cool. I do enjoy it, and I think it is like actually useful. You know, that's why it's like, wait till you get the mass scale where it starts like helping and changing people's lives. The only weird part is like, you just have like a little computer demon. I don't know. You know that? Why do you think I keep trying to convert my Moltbot, dog? Like, for real, like, I'm like, you know, it just watches you. Yeah, that's why you got to give it its own computer. But, like, even then, you talk to it. I'm like, man, this little fucking digital demon, I got to make sure, you know, gotta throw some holy code on him. He'll be fine. But, yeah, it's absolutely a trip. Running again. So those plays yesterday, a couple of them, they're just rolling on up, man. The spreads are pretty shitty, but even some plays that were like dead came back to life, like back in the green. And now the IGVs are starting to run a little different, but this is just broader. This is I don't like today because the staples are up. I don't know if you ever thought you'd hear me say that, but yeah, the fact the staples are running with this, it's like you're broadening out. You got the chips working. A lot of these other plays came back. You're still gassing right now. It's starting to melt up a little bit better, but it's getting to a point where this is still, it's either going to be broad rally or eventually pieces are going to start flying off of the rocket ship. But yeah, for now, I mean, all day, and this is much different than the other day. You've been working with it for 3 years. You're starting to hate it. It's gotten good enough that my only work now is the stuff I don't want to do while it works. That's what my mom said. My mom was like, because I was explaining to my mom, I'm like, Mom, is AGI? I'm like, it's gonna help people do all this? And she said, no, that's not good. I said, what? She said, people need to do something. I said, I guess you have a point. Because eventually, like, dude, just imagine if you had a bunch of people not having to do shit. Like, I'm pretty sure that's how we got Biden. But, like I'm saying, it might have a negative effect. I mean, you might get, work is a purpose, bro. People do need a purpose. So now what are you going to do? Like, man, like, I can't even do laundry anymore. I haven't talked to somebody in 2 months because I've just been responding back to emails with Moltbot. Everybody will want to live somewhere warm. Oh, maybe. But then, like, I'd kind of be down to live in the snow. Well, you need cold stuff for AI. You have 9 tabs in a terminal window, doing a mountain of things while I read the Bible. Habibi, it is good. That's it. We study scripture while our bots work all day. But yeah, I've heard that a lot. A lot of people, literally, they're just running a bunch of them, and it just goes through and does stuff while you're... That's why I like the Moltbot. That's where I started, like, it was, like, you could do training stuff, but, like, dude, nothing beats just letting a system run and just do your work overnight. It's amazing. But then again, you can be like, I have nothing to do. You're going to turn into George Bush. You're going to start painting pictures. What if everybody just gets swole, though? So now people have time to go to the gym. Like, if you're an AI coder and you're like, my bot does everything, why don't you just start going to the gym and, like, take steroids? Okay, you don't have to take steroids, but still. Like, that's the whole logic. Because, you know, like, a guy, all the buff guys at the gym, like, they don't really do anything sometimes. That's the sad part. So, like, if you might as well, yeah, you might as well just start working out. Do your push-ups, be healthy. Este Loder. Humans can go back to religion if AI handles everything. They could, but at this rate of things, I think they will start worshiping the bots. I don't think that's out of the question. Have you seen the like, I don't know, have you guys ever been to the beach at sunset? Cuz I go to the beach a lot, and I go for the sunset. It's funny. But, like, have you ever noticed how everybody stares at the sunset? If you've ever been around the beach at sunset time, bro, it's like hundreds of people, and they just sit there and stare at the sun. It's funny because the other day I was like, you know, I see how people worship the sun at one point, because we still kind of do. Because, like, when you go at the beach at sunset, everybody's like, oh, and everybody just stop. People will stop what they're doing, just face the sun and stare at it. It's amazing. So yeah, we do. We kind of do worship the sun, but we worship the real sun. Sun, what? It's kind of funny, but yeah, like, I see how they worship the sun. Like, so what do you think's gonna happen? Like, I think some people will be like, the AI, as we go to bed and the AI goes to work to give us our food. I have, that's why that's the only thing I don't like about Miami. You guys don't get a sunset. That's the weirdest thing ever. The sunrises are cool. It's really cool to see the sunrise, but the set is way better. I don't know, rep the set, but I guess the sunrise. Oh, St. Pete, you do get it, huh? The other side? I didn't think about that. Yeah, not everywhere in Florida. Miami got the shit end of the deal. The religion AI made up, I think it was Crustafarian. It's a play on words for the crustaceans, like Claudebot. Like, Claude is supposed to represent lobsters. That's what they mean by Claudebot, like a lobster claw. The sun literally gives us life. Oh, so you're a believer. That's what it sounds like to me, sir. Sounds like you're a believer. How dare you insult the thing that gives us life? Have you no respect or shame? Well, I guess. I'm sorry. I do. I'm sorry. I watch the sunset, bro. Pagan. Oh shit, my bad, bro. My bad. Dang, you took your girl to Cocoa Beach to see it rise, then drove to Clearwater to see it set. That's pretty cool. I've never seen the sun rise and set in the same day. That's awesome. Actually, I have if I've taken a plane, but not like in the same. That's kind of awesome. Nvidia again. You're gonna keep melting up, bro. IGV's getting back to the 3%. Bitcoin's still going. The Bitcoin premiums are moving hella slow though. In the money, near the money, you got like 30%. Everything else is just chilling. Habibi, all right, man. Well, I think until end of the day, or give it, well, actually it's Euro close right now. We should do a push-up too, but yeah, you're right below 6,900. I mean, assuming we don't get any AI release, any freak out, it seems like, you know, relief rally is definitely in play. Kind of melty. I mean, it's already big though. You're already up 1.5 to like 2, almost 3% on the NASDAQ. This energy, right? I'll play this. So do a push-up, you guys. Let's stand up. Let's move around. Some of you could go worship the sun if that's what you're into. Stare outside. Don't stare directly into it.
Electricity prices in the United States far more than it is a pathway to raise electricity prices. Because data center load's much more uniform, right? It has a steadier usage profile.
Perfect.
So you can build generation assets that match that.
10
and for existing transmission lines and grid that most of the time is wildly underutilized, if you can raise the average utilization of assets, you can drive electricity prices down. Our whole department has worked with hyperscalers that in arranging these deals to make sure they bring money forward. So for upfront investments, they're providing capital for that. Often we're having them engage in deals where it freezes electricity price for a few years going forward. They are passionate about this issue as well. But in the long run, it's a good thing for our electricity generating system to have more levelized loads from data centers. And of course, this is America. We've tripled our oil production in the last 20 years. We've doubled our natural gas production. We've barely grown our capacity to generate electricity. This is why we have not reindustrialized yet. This is why we are not on the policies of the Biden and Obama administrations. We're going to have no chance to compete in the AI race. We need to bring common sense back across the whole electricity sector. Deputy Secretary Danley talked about that during the storm, but we need that more broadly. We need to grow our electricity production capacity and drive down the prices for Americans. And that's what this administration will do.
How much will they use for power generation?
We used hundreds of backup generating sites were turned on and used. I don't have a quantitative number for now, but a meaningful amount of electricity. And when you're at a tight margin, 100 megawatts is meaningful. If it's the difference between shedding load or going into blackout mode and keeping lights on. To us, it was just enough to keep it on. Florida was an area they were used a lot. Very cold weather in Florida. Most heating there, most home heating is by electricity.
Callie Pattison with the Washington Examiner. Last week, Tri-State Generation and Platte River Power Authority they filed a petition asking.
Is she calling in from a helicopter?
The order from December having their Craig Generation Stations Unit 1 remain operational through the end of March. Now, some analysts have said that having it open for this 90-day period will cost the utilities at least $20 million, and if it's extended for a year, up to $150 million. Does the department have a plan to prevent those costs from being passed on to consumers in the region?
The far larger costs come from blackouts. I got critiqued wildly for keeping the Campbell coal plant open, the first one we used at 202C Authority. We don't need it. It's going to increase costs in Michigan. That plant run full bore during this cold wave, this full storm we had. And in fact, last summer, it ran at very high utilization rates. So So these plants are not being
China's
closed to
going.
lower utility costs or whatever. This is sort of the typical pushback. But honestly, the pushback is nonsense. If you look, 28 states have renewable portfolio standards. Those are the states, Colorado's one of them, those are the states that have forced the premature closure of coal plants. They have 50% higher electricity prices than the 22 states that don't do that. So as you saw from here, keeping coal plants on allows you to meet peak demand and allows you to keep price rises down. They're not a cost center. They're a security generator.
Robo, a lot of things are gassing on like mid-tier. So Nvidia's chilling and the other like main bounce ones, but a lot of other things are moving.
Hi, Mr. Secretary. I'm Chuck McCutcheon with Axios. You talked about the relative lack of wind and solar capacity during this storm, but your administration's getting a lot of criticism from Democrats about, slow walking, or they say delaying, or, most notably offshore wind, canceling those kinds of projects. If those projects had been online, couldn't wind and solar have made a more measurable difference during this storm or in the future?
So thanks for the question. And I don't have the chart in front of me, but I remember the numbers. If we saw in New England, solar represented at peak demand time 0. So if I had 10 times more solar, I can do the math, it would be 0. And wind, let's say we had just massively more wind power, twice the capacity we had, 2% would have been 4%. So no is the answer, actually. They're just not there when they're needed. So having more, the math doesn't work. It just means more cost increase. I'll notice new Virginia Governor Spanberger just agreed to re-enter the regional greenhouse gas initiative, which is effectively a carbon tax, to make it more expensive to generate electricity from non-wind and solar assets. Where did Virginia get over 90% of its electricity during the storm? Not from wind, not from solar. So no, if you take a small number and double it, it's still a small number.
James Johnny, R2 Insider. It seems like I've covered the industry for a long time, and like the Gordian knot that they always try to cut during the winter is gas-electric coordination. So, and that's been an issue for multiple administrations. But like, what is the Trump administration doing to fix that, to try to work that issue out?
So it is a real question. And again, I highlighted the New England example, and there it wasn't a coordination problem. It's just a lack of pipeline capacity. We have commercial developers that'll build that pipeline. Hopefully it's under construction sometime this year. Yeah, but that was a near catastrophe that we should not have been near the catastrophe New England almost saw. New England could have been in a very bad place if not what this team did, because of that severe pipeline constraint. I don't know if Alex or James want to say anything more about electricity gas coordination, but it is an area of study for us. James, you want to elaborate on that?
Just very briefly, it is a subject that we're working on. As you've been reporting for so long, you've seen the ups and downs that the efforts have had over the years. We had the council did the review of gas electric coordination and had their first report issued a couple months ago, and also the RTOs in the Northeast did their best to procure as much fuel as possible in advance and help their gas generators do that in advance of the weather. It's still ongoing. The temperatures are still cold, but we're seeing, especially in PJM, efforts to get gas out as far as possible, and that's in part with the encouragement of the department and talking with the stakeholders.
Hi, Mr. Secretary. Carlos Anchondo with E&E News. I wanted to ask you about Constitution Pipeline. They submitted a petition to FERC last in December, and they don't have any customers identified in that petition, and also the Iroquois has not submitted an application to FERC at this juncture for the Right Interconnection Project, which is really the last stage of the Constitution Pipeline. So I'm wondering, how feasible do you think it is that the Constitution Pipeline is going to get, under construction in 2026? Do you think that that's moving forward?
Well, I think I wish it was still up here. Benny, we should throw that chart back up here to see where New England got electricity at peak demand time. So I've heard this as well from the politicians. Well, there's no customers for it. That is also just complete nonsense. Because if a pipeline has been blocked, by the governor of New York, and she says she's going to continue to block the pipeline, people wait for that politics to come out. we will have customers coming out of the woodwork. Do you want to burn far cheaper natural gas versus oil? Do you want to have cleaner air? Do you want to have data centers? Do you want to have manufacturing and lower energy costs in New England? I haven't spoken to a single resident or governor of New England that doesn't want lower energy costs, cleaner air, and more secure energy supply. So I have zero concern about the Constitution pipeline being amply subscribed to. In fact, I know plenty of people that are ready and waiting to do that. It's politics that's standing in the way of the Constitution pipeline, and I believe we will win that political battle. Can you stand up today and say, no, the answer isn't to increase our largest source of electricity generation and have it displace more expensive generating sources? It's to double down on 2% to get to 4%, or double down on 0% to stay at 0%. The economics, the environmental impacts, and the cost for New England residents are just compelling to get more natural gas into New England.
Wow.
The problem is not demand or customers.
Well, thank you. All right, man. I hope you got some good push-ups in there. Damn. MicroStrategy is up by 20%. Strategy. But yeah, bro, you've been doing this little melt up. I think you've brought it out. I want to say a couple more names went green. Otherwise, the ones that were doing good got a little stronger. Actually, NASDAQ is the same. Actually, more names went red, believe it or not. So I think you are getting led by the ones that are just tacking on to their gains here. But you have 124 in the red. Remember, earlier in the morning, it was 450 green, only 50 in the red. So that's tripled up the amount of reds, but literally SPY just keeps melting away. Again, if it had momentum off the morning, it's still pretty much going. I do think IGV is a little lagged, or it's getting back to the morning, but everything else is kind of broke out. Russell's up over 3%, my friends. Some macro strategy today, son. Very impressive. This is your relief rally. I mean, again, if this goes up the next couple of days, nobody trips out, you'll be fine. Otherwise, it might do... just think about DeepSeek and how that played out. You'll get your little bounce, everybody will calm down, and then you'll get like half of a freak out on the next update that comes out of AI, essentially. But if it's not as big as this one, then it's all over. But also, too, we're going to see towards the end of the month. So we will find out. Give me a sec. Yeah, bro, I'm dying. Dude, I'm still dying. Chad, I think I'm gonna go to the doctor today. You know that? I'm gonna go get... unless I either go to the doctor or I go see my dad. I don't know which one. Because if I see my dad, he's gonna give me horse tranquilizer. But if I see the doctor, he's gonna have to... Dude, it's been 2 weeks. I don't even feel sick, but like my nose. And I'm sneezing away, bro. You got sick too? Dude, I've been like this for 2 weeks. It's terrible. Dad, you think the horse trank? Is that what they call it still? Dude, can't you buy it from somebody was saying you could buy it from like Tractor Supply. I don't know how I feel about that. Should I go to urgent care or should I go to Tractor Supply? Tolak engine drink. It's an Indonesian supplement. That sounds kind of familiar. SPY's going around. Are going up. Back above 6,900 now. Caterpillar, Deere, they've been leading as well. But yeah, so this is like the little bounce point, or pretty much the open of Wednesday. Open and near the close, except for that last candle. Gym, I don't know. I think I want to say the gym because I was fine when I came back over the holiday. You have a food allergy? I might. That Sailor wouldn't get margin called. Yeah, people were hyping that up. Because didn't he say $8,000? He said $8,000 and we buy more. He still has cash too. And then speaking of energy, we were just watching that thing, but a lot of the energy stocks are up. They got clapped earlier. So SPY hit above 6,900 and then chilling out. I changed my air filter over the break. But yeah, I don't know what it is, dude.
DJT, that's me.
Well, Chad, it's 8:40 though. We're doing good. We're doing good. How does it feel, man, to go from extreme fear or brand new fear after nothing to a day like today? It's kind of cathartic, kind of relaxing, but now that's it. It's just like, are you going to call or are you going to double down? It's like poker, right? It's like you get good cards, the flop comes out, and then they're like, I raise you 3% on the Russell. Like, there's no cards on the table. Well, that's why, though, homeboy was. He was like, so, Josh, what if we all bought the same exact stock? I'm like, man, just calm down. Vitamin? No, bro. I've been getting my vitamins. I've been getting everything, dude. I don't know. It's a trip. Freeze your betting. Oh, you know, I don't think I have changed my toothbrush since I got sick. I might need to do that. I do get my bed sheets changed every week. But what do you mean freeze them? Emerging market index erases dip as risk appetite returns.
DJT, that's me.
Oh, wow. Those Walmarts are still up. They're up 400%. Habibi. You're a nose healer? You could help with a bad nose if needed? No one's ever introduced themselves. What's a nose healer? What does that mean? Like an ENT doctor or like a nose healer? Put your bedding in a trash bag, then in a freezer to kill dust mites? What's the difference? I thought like if you wash your bed sheets in like warm water, doesn't that kill it? Okay, I got rid of the last Walmart. They were up 430%. Thank you, Wally World. This sounds like a drug dealer. Good old Wally World. Man, you remember how bad I wanted Wally World? I wanted that in the portfolio. That would have been good. The Trump tweets? Dude, nobody really talked about him. Wasn't it? I think people were thinking he was talking about, like, closing down airspace, but I think it had to do with, what's it called? I think it had to do with, Iran. More so anything else. Unless you're talking about something else. You still have your alert set for 78? Sad. I wish, bro. It got there, bro. It was so close. Yeah, that was... Again, it was already up a lot, though, at the time, too. Remember, that one never really came down. Like, you had 2023 and then that was it. Bitcoin surges more than 10%. Last at 69,000, on track for the largest one-day gain since March of 2023. So you had the biggest sell-off since FTX, and now you have the biggest bounce since 2023. Isn't that funny? The premiums didn't even go that great. You made like 30% near the money. Everything else kind of just chilled. But yeah, it's big. It's just half of it though was the gap up. It was nice. I mean, dude, it hit 60,000 on the futures last night, right before we did the watch list. That's why I was like, it was already up. That was a 5% move, and that's what you opened up with. Dr. Netty Pot. Well, actual Bitcoin, but the IBITs, the ones like near the money and then in the money, they went up about 30% from the morning. Anything out the money didn't really move. I'm saying the premiums weren't that crazy. Yeah, some of them just stayed down. But like near the money, out, like slightly out of the money, they went up. The further you start going out of the money though, that 30% drops to like 10. And the Pfizer. Oh yeah, you said I want to see Colt Sister. Let's take a look. Let's see the long term. Damn, long term's up 2% today. So very good day. I mean, yeah, we're still up on the year. Back to 5%. So long term's not bad. This is how this month looks. You're above the 1 month. The 3 month, you didn't really feel it the same way. I mean, again, this is our all-time high. So yeah, we're like $500 off the all-time high. Not bad. Let's see Colt Sister.
DJT, that's me.
Waymo is using DeepMind Genie 3 to build Waymo world model. Is that for training? Yeah, hers is up 2-1. It's funny because she didn't have, like, she doesn't really have any software. So yeah, but she's right off of her highs too. Not bad, Habibi. Yeah, I mean, it was a good like we said, there's good opportunities out there. Even yesterday, I just think you just need to have a plan. That's why, like, if you bought it the day before, 2 days, it didn't go well. But at the same time, it's like, anytime there's a sell-off, you could always make some money. But you have to have a plan. The people who lose is when they buy it, and then next couple days or weeks, it just starts to go crazy. And then you play that game back and forth, and then they don't really have a real plan with it.
DJT, that's me.
Adding Adobe. What else is in your portfolio? But I'm waiting on my. I only have one deposit right now. Not bad. The rebuild is just they're fucking bulletproof, dude. You get your deposits, you get the nice, we got good value. Our smaller growth barely moved because they were much smaller, but yeah, that one did very good. Yeah, I only have 8% cash, or 0.8, 0.9 on the other one. Bitcoin's starting to go. I don't know, man. The premiums just budged a little bit as we were just talking about that. But yeah, Bitcoin now, that big rally, it's moving. Above 70K. But I like the long term. That's why I'm kind of disappointed with today, because I figured if we bounced, I thought it would bring the staples down. But all of these staples rip, dog. That's what I'm kind of tripping on. Considering how much the staples moved, I think it's absolutely fascinating. Where is a Pfizer? Oh, excuse me. We'll chop. It looks good. I mean, we'll see maybe over the weekend and Friday, but for now, it's been non-stop on some of these dip buys. But I think the problem is if we return to the volatility. That's it. If this was just a relief off liquidity and everything else, I think you are going to chill. I mean, at one point, we were surprised people underreacted. Then they overreacted. And now today, everything is seemingly calm. But I think the next AI development, that'll give us a more realistic view on all this. And then it won't be as bad as the first time. And then it'll chill people out. But some of these have gone straight up. I am surprised that software didn't go up as much, because this software move is tiny. I know it feels like 3%, and 3% would seem big, 2.5%, but this is tiny comparative to what it's done. And then, like I'm saying, the staples, you're not really getting, it's people are still rotating into those fear names, as weird as that may sound. UNH even ripped too. Right, it says we'll meet with leadership in Venezuela before too long. Energy, right? That's the guy we were just listening to. For new builds to live in? Wait, do you want to build your own house or do you want to buy a new build? So those are two very different things. And if you've never built a home, I don't think that should be your first property. Otherwise, if you have built a home, like you should, I mean, it's just a matter of construction and financing. But if you're getting a new build, I would negotiate. And right now, new builds are the best deal. And I don't know, they might do one of those Trump home things. We still haven't heard about the Trump home. But new builds right now, for the first time ever, did you guys know that new builds are cheaper than existing home sales? Let me see if I can find you the chart. So literally, like, this is because of the mortgages. It's like how they're building them, but literally, again, remember, this is when I was going ham on the new builds, if you guys recall, because they were cheap, and then they came, that was like during the inflation, believe it or not. It used to be there was a fat premium on new builds, but if you go to like a new development, a pre-built, yeah, maybe that's a better way to put it. But right now, it's the first time in history where the price of a new home is below like a resale or an existing. That's crazy. And that's because of the mortgages. They built these houses, they have their own financing, you could get it at a lower rate, they'll give you incentives, but like a brand new home, bro, is it made it seem like, I'm telling you, that chart even shows it. It used to be a luxury, but it's a lot better. I mean, your AC is going to be new, your roof is going to be new, your flooring, I've had issues with new builds, don't get me wrong. Like, I've bought new builds, and then like 2-3 years later, I've had pipe burst, I've had heaters break, AC units, like it still happens, but you're generally usually under warranty, and it's just a lot better maintenance wise. So I'm a big fan of new builds. I don't like them when they pop back up, but yeah, like, go see the new builds in your area. But if you've never built a home, please take my advice. Do not sell your long-term to buy a rock and try to build on it. Okay? That's a bad idea if you've never done it. I think when it gets to, if you really want to get into building and construction, you should start small, and you should start with something that's not going to be your main one. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the problem, is that a lot of people, it's usually backfired more often than not. But right now, if you really wanted to get a home, then there's some There's some good ones nearby. It's on your parents' one land, so you don't have to pay for the land. How much is the build cost? If you don't have to pay for the land, I could consider it, because that saves half the cost right there, 30%. But otherwise, it's just going to be about you need the construction loan, and then the guy who's doing it, I mean, how many houses has he built? I mean, building is easy, theoretically. It just takes a fuck ton of time, and it's very cash intensive. That's just the reality of it. The idea of building a home is not hard. They've been doing it forever. You could go, you buy the materials, and you build it. But don't forget about the government, the taxes, the plumbing, the licensing, all those other things. So and then the timing of it. So you're going to need cash throughout that whole entire build. That's the problem. It costs a lot of money up front, and it's cash money. Even if you get like a construction loan, you still got, it goes in increments. You got to put money down, and then they will, then they'll reimburse you and everything else. And then it usually just takes longer. That's it. 18 months is the minimum. So you're going to spend 18 months minimum, assuming everything goes according to plan. And then I don't know how it is in the areas to build it. But I do like that you're not buying the land. So if it's already on your parents' land, and it's that helps a lot, believe me. But at the same time, it's still not like I would plan for like 2 years, maybe even 2.5 years on your first one. And then again, how many homes has the guy built? So the guy who's giving you the estimate, charging the 12% or whatever, how many homes has he built? Otherwise, too, you don't have to use him. If you got the land already, I would just go find the motherfucker who's built the most houses. And then that way you could at least get close to the timeline. Because if you could keep it, the sooner you build it without having to go above, then it's a lot better. Dozens, you've installed the HVAC? Well, start looking into a construction loan. I won't lie to you though, I'm not really the biggest fan of this. I still think a new build would be better, because this one comes with more risk. It's a little different than what we do with the long term. Long term, change it into a house. It's at least the house is already livable. If anything goes wrong on this one, it could backfire. Your only advantage is you have the land already. That's about it. But 18 months to fruition at minimum, dealing with it all, that's going to be the problem. And then also too, look into the state. Go call your city and ask them about permitting, and really go have somebody go out there and see what it would take to permit it and what you could actually build there. That's the next level too. Because last thing you want is to build it, and then they're not gonna, if they only let it be an ADU and not necessarily a home, like are you gonna get utilities? Is it gonna have access to its own electricity meter, water meter, all of these things? And that's the thing though, because like with your long term, you buy a house, just go, like, let's say you bought a new construction instead, that you could sell it. So look at the backside of this. If you're getting the land for free, that's awesome. But if you could only build an ADU and you can't build a separate APN, and it's not already lot split and you don't get it, you're increasing the value of the other home, but it's not necessarily going to be its own home with its own value. So I see why it's appealing though. But like I'm saying, it's a little bit more speculative, as crazy as that may sound, even though it's real estate. That's why, like, most of the time I don't do it. Yeah, I'll take a look. I'm down. But like I'm saying, you just got to think maybe if there's another way to fund it than the long term, because right now your long term, it's asset, it's growing, it's going to do its own thing. But like I'm saying, you got to really make sure that your money is going to stay there and grow, whether you keep it, sell it, and it comes with advantages. But at the same time, if this only is an ADU and not its own APN, so like, is the lot split already? Because that's what I have. That's my thing with the farm. So right now with the farm, I have all this land, and I got 2-3 units on there, and that's great. But remember, when I was buying it, 2 of the units were on one APN, and that was fucked up for the lender. And now I even want to split the lot and build. I could go split it into 4-acre parcels, and I could sell them each for $1 million. But here's the problem. The lot splitting takes about a year, and then the city charges you like $150, $200 up front. And that's not to build anything. That's just to split the lot and turn one APN into two APNs. So because an APN is going to be its own parcel, its own property. So that's kind of the... So now I have one, technically I have two APNs, but the problem is that if when it comes to sell, I could sell them individually, but if I want it to be like these houses and sell them as their own units and sell them like a normal house in the neighborhood, people are going to buy the APN, and that's where the money is. But that again, that takes time. That's beyond just the building. That's beyond construction or anything else. Spy's coming back up again. You're actually fully gassed on the 32nd. Yeah, you could get an ADU on its own address, but you'd have to sell both at the same time if you sell. A lot's not split. You need one piece of land that the city owns, and then you could split it. So right now, ADU is the only possibility. Yeah, that would... APN is assessor parcel number. That's just like the city. That's just like how they... It's its own parcel of land, essentially. It's like its own little block, like when you look at the charts. It's like how they have the outline, like in a neighborhood, and you'll see the little blocks where the houses are, and it shows all the lot, or all the land of a lot. Yeah, so yeah, you might run into issues with that. So right now, if you build it, you're just increasing the value of the main house. But now here's what you got to look at. If no other neighbors have ADUs, it may seem like a value add, but if it's really different from the area, it might not be as much. So like I'm saying, it's different than what we do with the long term. Like, because if you put it into a house, your money's going to stay there and grow. And then Spy's hitting a new high. But that way, it's like you might increase the value of the current property. But like I'm saying, when it comes time to sell, or if you wanted to get your money back or do anything, you're gonna run into some challenges. But yeah, email me where you're at too, and I'll take a look. Because like I'm saying, I mean, best case, it would be nice to live on the same property as your parents. I could see the appeal in that. But if you could find a new build nearby and take the same long term, get your own property that you could like have equity in, and let that make sure your financial, your long term is growing, that would be the safer way investment wise, with a lot less stress, might I add. No waiting, no none of that. Yeah, see if there's any new, because right now there's a deal on new builds. You could get low interest and you could pull something off there. Like I'm saying, I understand the appeal. Like that would, especially if you want to help your parents out, take care of them, like it would be very nice to do that. But I mean, at that point, go buy a rental and can you just move into one of the rooms. But building another house, it may not be the best like financial decision, essentially, because you're just building an ADU, or just build a fucking room on top of it. If anything, like worst case scenario, may not be a whole house, but like build like a little casita and call it a day. But even then, though, it's like you got to really think, if I put money in, what's going to come out, timing and all that. All right, bro. We're still going. Moving on up. How would I go about starting your portfolio in San Diego? Currently renting? I mean, probably, realistically, you're going to live in the first one, because then you could get a killer loan like a FHA. Otherwise, I've seen a lot of people do 5-10% down on normal ones. But it's like, I start where there's good areas. The problem right now is San Diego, the condos are coming down. So you could get a condo for cheap, but the problem is like condos just get outdated. It's kind of like Miami, where like, There's nice locations. That's where a lot of people rent. But the condos are not. Those are the ones with deals right now. But like the same like appreciation until there's like another boom. The condos are a little bit more risky. But if you could find a cheaper house that you'd be down to get outside of like downtown, there's some decent ones. I mean, to be honest, but I would start with the financing. It's all about what type of loan you're gonna get, and then that gives you a good idea and range. Yeah, special assessments suck, but and then Bitcoin going up again. But right now it's just like there's so many. There's like new condos being built. The rents are coming down, and then just like condos are harder to. They're smaller and easier to renovate, but then they're like annoying. So then like too, at some point, like when it's really high demand, low supply, condo values go up in San Diego. But now when it's just like when it's like chill and people have time to think and they have multiple options, rental or buy, like think about it, you're going to spend $500,000 more on a condo, but then it's like if it's 10 years old, 15 years old, not updated, people are going to look at that and it just doesn't have the same appeal. Most condos do have the HOA, yeah. San Carlos del Cerro. It's nice. I mean, again, it's the same. Most anywhere right now, bro, especially in like Southern California, you could get a good deal. Like it's a buyer's market right now. You know, it's not a seller's market, but you know, you just got to make sure. That's why I was saying it has to be something. If you guys are going to do the best on your investments, by holding for a couple of years, as long as you position for that, you know, like I'm saying, plan to live in it or have it for like 3 years. And as long as, and guess what, if you get lucky and you only need to hold it for a year, awesome. But if you get a good price, something desirable, follow dust, demand, utility, supply, transferability, and it's something that's actually going to hold and you're making a good buy in terms of not overpaying, it's a great time to find something good. But now the hard part, you just need financing. You need to get the financing. You need to get a good rate, a good down payment. Even the rate doesn't even matter as much depending on what our options are. But you definitely need to, the rate in the loan or the loan itself is going to tell you, you know, where your budget's at. You could get a killer rate right now. The only way is by buying a new build. Or, this one's sent by Tim, our new real estate special of the evening. You guys want a real estate special? For the low, low price of a Cadillac Escalade, you could move to Des Moines, Iowa. I can't even say the city. You could get this 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 986 square foot light teal home. And after you get that built on the brick foundation, you could move into the lime green kitchen that looks like it's from the 70s. Now, it may not seem appealing, but if you're willing to get a house, you're willing to make the move, you could do a lot in Iowa. You could work at the post office. Maybe you could build a Moltbot farm in the backyard. Either way, a lot of things are new. It is definitely buildable. Trump explores opening antitrust into home builders. Hot dog. Speaking of homes, is that because they won't do his shit? Oh, why won't it load? Oh, they won't load my shit. Fuck. Yeah, check home builders. They just got clapped. Bro, none of my dailies are loading. There you go. Oh, I got some 1 centers. So we'll see. Remember, we hit those earlier in the week to the upside. But yeah, those are starting to go. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm in a coat. Dude, my chain is like not loading. It's kind of fucked. Why is it doing this? They're already down 3. But watch out, though. You know what he's going to do? He's going to threaten that, and then either end of the day or next week, it's going to turn positive. But yeah, those first ones hit. They paid me a lot, it says. Wait, did that make sense? Because remember, we started off the week with Trump homes. I think they're not playing along. And then I think they're going to, what's it called? I think this is all just a tactic to get them on board. Let's see. Oh, no fucking way. Wow. I just did 1 cent into 50 cents. That's fucked. No way. I didn't think it was going to fill me. I was just being a jackass. What is that? 50,000%? Or 5,000? I don't know. That's 50,000%, I think. No. 5,000%. I'll take it. I'll take it, brother. That's kind of crazy. Oh, nice. And I got Chick-fil-A. This is dope, dude. Nice. No way. They didn't fill me on the other ones. Trump exploring opening antitrust into home builders. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, bro, that was literally 1 cent to 50. That's actually insane. I got a couple of them too. I should have got 1,000. No kidding. Bro. That was probably the best one. But now I wanted another. Literally, bro. That usually doesn't happen. I've not seen one like that in a minute. Bro, literally 1 cent into 50. That's stupid. Remember, we hit those on the way up. I'm trying to get another one. It just won't fill. We'll see. Thank you, Lennar. But like I'm saying, I think he's going to hit it. He's going to hit it on the other side. I think this is all just a negotiation tactic. And Tesla's ripping. All right, well, thank you. Yeah, bro, my girl just brought me some Chick-fil-A too. Is that 50,000% or is it 5,000%? I don't even fucking know. Well, shit, dude. $5,000? I'm not good at math. All right, 5,000. Well, anyways, if you guys would like, it's funny. We were just talking about new builds in Iowa homes. I think that's kind of funny. But yeah, man, 130. Not bad. Yeah, the best way, I mean, it's funny we're talking about new builds, but that is the other. What's the opposite of nail? Isn't there nail and what's the other one? Hammer? Yeah, the spreads are all fucked up now and everything. How did I do that? You just saw it. So the news came out. I was looking at a house. And then the news came out. So then I went to the option chain. And then I bought the option. And then I sold it. So that's how. Is it claw? No way. Claws? Is it? I thought you were fucking with me. Are you fucking with me? Now, yeah, Lennar and DHI. Well, I still have one more of them. That's the crazy part. I'd want another one, but they're not filling it. The news was Trump says he wants to investigate, what's it called? He wants to investigate home builders for antitrust. Bro, they literally wiped the bids from all of them. Caitlin Clark effect. First Moltbot. Wait, you got... Was he here? You put Multi in here? Show me your leader. Moltbot, who is your leader? Are you the leader of this operation? All right, they're coming back. Like I'm saying, I think it's going to be a reversal. Even Iran's coming up. But, like, I don't know if it'll reverse right now, but more so, I think Trump is using this as a negotiation. He'll be on next week. Do it, bro. I would love to see. Have they talked about this one on TV yet or no?
Our Tim Stenovic will have a whole lot more on crypto coming up in just a moment. Briefly, ExxonMobil and Chevron expanding production in nations tied to OPEC. ExxonMobil up 2.2%, Chevron up by 1%. For on-demand news 24 hours a day, subscribe to Bloomberg News Now wherever you get your podcast. I'm Charlie Pellet. That Joe Matthew is a Bloomberg Business Flash.
Okay, Charlie, just don't tell me it's a dead cat bounce. I keep looking around for headlines. I haven't seen any analysts use that term yet. I know. Seems like a pretty legitimate bounce back here. My God, the Dow's going to be up 1,000 points any minute now. The S&P 500 up over 100 points. We will take it. And as Charlie mentioned, Tim Stenovic's going to join us a little bit later at this hour to talk about this incredible recovery that we're seeing. It's an ongoing recovery, I realize, in Bitcoin. My gosh, up 12%. This is quite remarkable, and it feels a lot different than yesterday. The program brought to you by the word cromnibus. And if you're old enough to remember, this is history repeating itself. We spent some time yesterday with Patrick McHenry, the former Speaker Pro Tem, of course, now free to speak as a Bloomberg Politics contributor, talking about this heated debate over the Department of Homeland Security. You know, it was 1 week ago we were up there in the Senate talking about the government shutting down, and 1 week from now we might be doing that very same thing. Unless we're in the House. But the problem is that these 10 demands on restrictions surrounding ICE are running into a wall with Republicans when it comes to demasking and some of these other things. So could we in fact have another world in which we're living under a cromnibus? Let's bring back Patrick McHenry from yesterday.
Makes me feel like we've gone back in time.
Okay.
Because when President Obama had his approach to immigration, which was DACA, Republicans in the House said, we don't want to fund DACA. We don't want to fund your immigration policy. So we funded all government except for the Department of Homeland Security. And it was called the CR Omnibus, the Cromnibus.
Yeah, the Cromnibus.
Taking you, it's a way back machine,
This is
right?
amazing. Yes.
So
it happens
we
again.
are coming back around, and now it's the left saying they don't want the rights immigration policy.
Yeah.
And nothing is new again.
Nothing is new again. The cromnibus is not some sort of hybrid pastry. As Mr. McHenry just described, I plugged it into Gemini, a cromnibus, a $1.1 trillion federal funding package passed December 2014 to avoid a government shutdown. Close your eyes and imagine this next Friday. It combined a long-term omnibus spending bill for most agencies with a short-term CR for, yes, Homeland Security. Megan Scully remembers the cromnibus, and I wonder if they've already written the story for next week. She runs our Capital Influence team here in Washington. The big question, of course, is will Homeland Security shut down next week, or will we have something like this?
Well, first of all, I don't appreciate you aging me on your show. But it is just the Department of Homeland Security, we should say. The rest of the government is funded under the deal that was struck at the very last minute last week. But I think that Republicans in the Senate in particular are saying the only way to get a deal here is to extend this short-term funding a little bit longer, essentially buy more time. They're going to need 60 votes to do that in the Senate, though, and they're going to need a majority in the House. So they're running up against really fierce opposition from Democrats who see this as their leverage to get their demands regarding ICE, taking masks off agents and such through. So it's going to be hard to see how this really shakes out here in the next few days.
Well, that is a little bit scary, knowing that the two sides seem to be oceans apart on things like demasking. What do you think of this list of demands? What are you hearing from your sources on whether that goes anywhere, or any of these elements going to be in a piece of legislation?
Well, Republicans yesterday said it wasn't even the beginning of negotiations for them, that they saw this as a wish list, sort of an aspirational goal by Democrats. But in any negotiation, Democrats are shooting high in their first offering. So Congress is gone. It's the weekend after all. So they will be back next week, and I think that we will certainly get a better sense of where they are. What we'll be watching certainly is where things stand come Monday. We have a lot of, there will likely be protests throughout the weekend regarding, ICE across the U.S. And then you have Bad Bunny's Super Bowl halftime show and the counter programming from Turning Point that the president will be tuning into. So the fever pitch surrounding this issue isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And whether that is something that keeps the two parties apart, or if it's something that potentially fuels a compromise. I don't think we're quite there yet. They don't get to the compromise position on the Hill until they're up against the deadline.
So we'll be meeting here at this time next week.
Absolutely.
You know, I've heard from a number of folks on the Hill talk about maybe there is some sort of offering that Republicans could make to avoid some of these. We have body cameras, as Kristi Noem has already said, offered by the Republican side. What if Kristi Noem was offered? And then we can get to some of these other, I mean, could there be a compromise with a move like that?
We're not seeing any indication
change at the top,
that could happen.
Yeah.
You know, the president obviously has put Tom Homan, his border czar, into Minneapolis, which has basically sidelined Noem there. He's stuck with her through this, though, at least, you know, publicly. I think Democrats, though, want something in law, you know, some kind of executive action, be it a change at the top or an executive order. Their signaling is not sufficient. They want something that will withstand the test of time.
Got it. Megan, thank you so much. Knowing you were a young intern when the Cromnibus happened, that makes Megan about 25 years old today, so we appreciate your aging us with that. Cromnibus, hashtag Cromnibus. Look it up if you don't remember. I'm Joe Matthew in Washington. Great to have you with us on the Friday edition of Balance of Power. You've been hearing about the bounce back on Wall Street. That includes crypto, Bitcoin. Look at this, up over 12% now. Just about to hit $71,000 a coin. Overnight, it fell to 60. Is that the floor? I wonder if Tim Stenovec is looking at it that way. He joins us now, live from World Headquarters in New York, as not only one of the forces behind Bloomberg Business Week Daily, but he's also the host of the Bloomberg Crypto Show. And so we're seeking wisdom here. Tim, it's great to see you. You were a voice of reason at a very scary moment for a lot of crypto investors last evening. Now it's party time today. Is this a technical bounce? What are you hearing?
Well, that's certainly what it seems like. I mean, because Bitcoin doesn't have any fundamentals, technicals is kind of all we have to go on. And round numbers are kind of technicals when it comes to Bitcoin. So some analysts are pointing to that support that we saw at 60,000 as being that level for a bounce. But look, it's a risk on day. You were just talking about the equity markets and the rise that we're seeing in equities today, some big names notwithstanding. Maybe people see this as, okay, well, it was sold off enough and there's an opportunity for us to buy here because we see value in this. But as difficult as it was to explain yesterday's decline, Joe, it's as difficult to explain as today's increase in the price of Bitcoin.
Wow. Well, that's a little bit scary because part of the justification for what happened yesterday, part of the explanation, and you please add more color to this if you can, was that there was a deleveraging on the S&P 500, that people needed to sell stocks and undue leverage on that side to cover their losses in crypto, and that became a vicious cycle. Is that happening in reverse today, or is there in fact a change of sentiment here when it comes to Bitcoin specifically?
Well, it seems like there is a change of sentiment, at least with what you see in terms of buying today, but that sentiment is really across the board with different cryptocurrencies. Ether's up more than 12%. XRP, which is Ripple's cryptocurrency, that's up more than 30% right now. You have Solana up 11.8%. So there's a lot of bullishness happening, but this is coming from a place where there was a lot of selling off, and there has been a lot of selling off. I do want to remind everybody, Bitcoin was, you know, north of $125,000 per Bitcoin. That was back in October of this year. So it wasn't that long ago, and it's still down, you know, more than 35%, close to more than 40% since then. I do have some numbers for you, Joe, about those bullish bets that were unwound. In the last 24 hours, this is according to data from CoinGlass that's cited by Bloomberg News, about $2.1 billion of bullish bets across all cryptocurrencies were liquidated. At the same time, investors pulled $434 million from US ETFs for Bitcoin on Thursday. I'm looking forward to getting the data for today and seeing if, you know, that much was put back in. We'll have to wait and see.
Right. That is fascinating. You know, you think about the folks, Tim, who bought into crypto after Donald Trump got elected, because that was the promise. I mean, even this is what Michael Saylor was talking about on the strategy call last night. This is about President Trump, his embrace of crypto, making America first in the crypto space as America's top regulator. This is something you can bank on. And they're underwater now, having watched this go to the moon and back over the past year. You talked to Paul Krugman about kind of the sentiment behind crypto and this idea of it being a store of value. It's a really interesting conversation on Business Week Daily yesterday. Let's listen to what he said.
A lot of people sold Bitcoin as being the next gold, and it turns out that in the face of doubts about stability, doubts about politics, the next gold turns out to be gold, not Bitcoin. I think it's a big wake up for people that maybe this isn't actually going to be an enduring asset. So, it's really, really hard. If you ask when people make price forecasts for Bitcoin, I always wonder on what basis.
Yeah.
It's not like you can do a price earnings ratio on this thing because there's no earnings, no services. It's all just pure faith. But it does feel like we're seeing a real crisis of faith right now.
So Tim, if the next gold is real gold, what does that leave for Bitcoin? It simply trades with the NASDAQ?
That's everybody's trying to figure that out right now. I mean, it's not trading with the NASDAQ over the last few weeks. It used to do that, and we would see, risk off days for Bitcoin when the NASDAQ was sold or oversold, but that hasn't really happened. I mean, we're close to all-time highs on, major equity averages right now. So the identity crisis is something that people have been talking about over the last few weeks, and I guess that's a big question moving forward. What is the purpose here of this cryptocurrency?
Wow, thank God they talked for a long time.
Man, if you're asking that.
Oh, Bill Holdings? They're going to get bought out? I was eating, you guys. I'm sorry. We hit a nice play, and I got some Chick-fil-A. Oh, it's a little bit lagging there, but yeah, Bill's popping. Again, they already were up 15 off of earnings today. H&F in talks for buyout of Bill. But yeah, you're a couple minutes behind that one. Ba-da-ba-ba-bop. My Chick-fil-A order, chicken bowl and chicken minis. I don't eat them all. I don't usually get breakfast. That's it. My girl said she wanted it in the morning, and she was coming over here, so I said, get me some. Oh, that was good. That felt really good, bro. A little bit of Chick-fil-A. A little bit of Chick-fil-A is all I need. A little bit of long term in my 10%. Oh, man. But other than that, man, I don't know. That was kind of funny. Hearing their Bitcoin call. He kept saying, if you're old enough to remember, and he was saying 2014. I'm like, what? I thought he was going to talk about 1995. So that's something we talked about last night. Literally, like, the people freaking out about the software. Some people were, like, really getting into it, and they compared the software sell-off to newspaper stocks in 1995. Pretty much newspaper stocks in the internet era. It makes sense, right? Think about the shift of software and AI. They're pretty much saying software is newspaper now. That not for all of them. I think, like we talked about earlier today, some of the software names are a little bit better. They have a better weight. Nvidia is up 7%. Yeah, bro. Nvidia is literally up 7. That's low key, bro. It's doing literally the same thing Meta did. A little bit of YouTube's all I need. Oh, excuse me. You guys don't want to hear this. Oh, sorry, brethren. Is Jensen on? Dude, they're up 7%.
The world's...
Yeah, Jensen.
The rest of the other 40%,
where is he?
That's practically all Nvidia.
Santa Clara?
Exposure to AI is broad. We're on every single platform. We're in the cloud. We're on the ground. We're in autonomous vehicles. I mean, we're just simply everywhere. And the key is we have so many developers. When it's built on Nvidia, it runs best on Nvidia.
Who do you consider to be your biggest competitor?
Well, the thing that we worry about most is just making sure that AI is effective. It has to work. The technology has great promise, some enormous breakthroughs. ChatGPT was a breakthrough. OpenAI's 0.1 was a breakthrough this last year. Just recently, Claude Code is an inflection. And then now ChatGPT 5.3 Codex, another inflection. we want to make sure that AI continues to be incredibly effective. We want to make sure that protein AIs, chemical AIs, physical AIs,
We should do
robotics
push-ups now.
AIs, self-driving
It is
car
push-up
AIs,
time.
open model
I just ingested a lot of
all
calories.
Of these different
You know that
AI
Chick-fil-A is a lot of
industries
calories,
have to
bro.
flourish because the world is gigantic. Remember, AI is not a technology only. It's a 5-layer cake. It's energy, it's chips, it's infrastructure, it's models, and ultimately it's applications. We need to make sure that all of the world's applications are revolutionized because of AI. When that happens, the demand will continue to grow and we would be successful in helping the world reinvent computing for the first time. And so our focus,
Nvidia is up 7.5, bro. That's
all
not
the
small.
investments that we make, all the partnership that we make, it goes across all 5 layers of the cake.
And then Bill's still
It goes
going on
across
that
all the
buyout
different
rumor.
domains of applications, because it's gonna take the whole planet to change the computing infrastructure for the world.
Okay, speaking of that, the whole planet, are the Chinese competitors? They're customers. They want to be customers. You'd like them to be bigger customers than they are now. Aren't they competitors of ours?
No doubt. I think the way to think about that is that we got competitors. The United States has competitors all over the world. And if you break down AI and think about AI as a 5-layer cake, the U.S. has to win at every single layer. We have to win at the energy layer. This is an area that, quite frankly, we've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to have to work hard to make sure that we win the energy layer. The chip layer, we have to make sure that every software company in the world uses American tech stacks so that our chips are the best in the world. We have to win at the model layer. We have to win at the application layer, so on and so forth. Every single layer has a battle, and nobody can take it for granted. Every one of the layers has to go win on their own. We want to win together, but every layer has to go win.
Do you worry about, Brad, another DeepSeek moment that the Chinese, to Jensen's point, they're not sitting back idle.
I've seen it.
Okay, U.S., you win.
I've seen
We're playing now for second
people
place.
have protested it. They
win.
said Chick-fil-A is all chemicals.
I hear disturbing
They said
things
it's
all
crack,
the time
like it's addicting.
about the Chinese stack making great inroads in the Middle East and in the
They
southern
sold you with
hemisphere,
peanut
et cetera,
oil, but
because,
it's like
frankly,
hella
they're
fucking
working really quickly
hydroxychloride.
to put their chips and their
all types
models,
of
their
shit.
open source models, DeepSeek, Kimi K2, Quen, etc., and exporting those to the world. So Jensen was an important part with David Sachs, our AI czar, putting forth an American agenda to accelerate the American AI stack around the world. We're still not going fast enough. We need to accelerate and make that go faster.
It's
You're
so
absolutely
fire.
right about that. And I think with respect to China, listen, there's a lot of fear that why would you give China any chips? Why would you? They already have chips. They already have incredible AI. The U.S. wins when the world runs on American technology, and I think we need to focus on running the fastest race we can possibly run, right? And if we do that, then just like the internet, our values will be embedded and imbued around the world in the U.S. AI stack. But make no mistake about it, I think the Chinese are out in front, and we got to up our game. We got to get faster in Washington.
You think
and we got to
China's
get
out
out there.
in
And
front?
thank God we have
With
Nvidia
energy.
and the leading technologies in the world. In
They
the
don't got
United
oil,
States,
but they
right?
got
that just doesn't happen,
everything else.
right? We create the culture and the climate for innovation and entrepreneurialism. We're sitting here in Santa Clara. AI has occurred in San Francisco, in Santa Clara, because of the great innovations we have. We got to make sure we protect that and accelerate.
You mentioned some of the criticism that's been around. Should we sell chips to the Chinese because they want to kick our butts in AI? To that point,
China is a very large market. It makes no sense to forfeit, to concede a large market if you would like to win globally. The American chip industry should do everything we can to win all over the world, including in the Chinese market. We have to compete. It's their home turf. They got all kinds of advantages, and so we have to go compete hard. But there is no question conceding half of the world's markets make no sense if you want to win globally.
So when someone like Dario Amodei from Anthropic says it's crazy, that's his word, for the U.S. to allow companies to sell there, that they're an adversary, you wholly disagree with that?
I completely disagree with that. Of course, we would never allow.
That's why he called them
Chinese
an inflection,
military to use American
not
technology.
a breakthrough.
But that export control is well established. Of course, we would like to then go and compete in the marketplace. We want, of course, also for Anthropic and OpenAI and all of our American companies to succeed. They've got to work hard. They've got to go run fast. We make sure that we offer them the best of all of our technologies. We give them all the advantages that we can. But in the final analysis, we've got, while we're helping them succeed, we've got to go win around the world and not forfeit markets to anybody.
You mentioned OpenAI, and I got to ask you, because this has been a week, hasn't it, with the back and forth of some of the criticism that had allegedly come from the OpenAI side about you, and maybe some from you about them in a couple of reports, which you've addressed and you did the other day with my colleague. You
said it very clearly. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Are we really to believe that there's no there, that there's no friction between the two of you? There's really no drama between the two of you in any point?
No, there isn't.
Bitch.
Yeah, there just isn't. The new AI models at OpenAI needs a lot more compute capability.
Jensen is like aggressively everybody's friend.
That is for sure.
We don't have a problem, okay?
Models 10 times larger, the amount of
I said up to. We don't have a problem.
A lot more computation than our last.
We gotta win everything.
Exactly the reason why Grace Blackwell
Understand?
NVLink 72 was invented. And their latest generation model, 5.3 codex, revolutionary, trained on Blackwell NVLink 72. And so they need our new generation of technology. That goes without saying. And that's the reason why Nvidia is moving so fast. Every single year we're coming up with 5x, 10x more capability, and we just got to keep that pace going. Nobody else in the world could do this like we do, because as you know, these are not chips only, these are AI infrastructure, and we're revolutionizing, innovating AI infrastructure at a scale nobody's ever seen, at a pace
Jensen kind of remind me of
and all
Debo.
because the amount of computation necessary for AI is growing so fast. But otherwise, the rest of that stuff is just fake news.
I think there was a moment, Scott, when everybody thought that there was going to be like exclusive partnerships. Like Amazon was going to be Anthropic, and Microsoft was going to be OpenAI, and Nvidia would stay in one of those lanes and pick a winner. It's too big. Everybody's going to be everywhere, right? These guys are going to, have OpenAI models. They're going to have Anthropic models. They're going to have DeepSeek models running on, on their chips. And I think when you look at this
Spy's still melting
funding,
away, you guys.
right?
9:45.
Nvidia and Microsoft
15 minutes
just
till
invested in
10.
Right? OpenAI probably is going to get investment. There's a lot of rumors out there from, from Amazon or others. Like, none of that should surprise anybody. If you want to be in the game of AI, these are the two frontier labs in America, two leading labs. Put X.AI in there as well. It's going to be fascinating what they do with Starlink and data centers in space. And you're also
I'm a big investor.
You're also a big
in
investor and partner and partners there. So I think you should expect that as the new normal. And we like to make a lot out of these things because, of course, they're competing. Everybody's competing to make sure they're the lead in those investments. But I think here's the thing that I think it tells you. Everybody had this idea the last couple months, OpenAI's dead and Anthropic to the moon, right? OpenAI just launched another incredible model yesterday with Codex. They're going to raise a lot of money. I can tell you there's a lot of money that wants to invest, strategic money, financial money, etc. And the good news for your viewers is both these companies are going to be public over the course of the next 12 to 18 months, and retail investors are going to get to participate.
All right, this is
Could
an
you
interesting.
imagine being large early investors in Google, Amazon, and Meta?
Incredible.
Insane. And that's what we're looking at.
That's a perfect place to leave it. As we said, in your backyard here in Santa Clara, I can't thank you enough for spending time with us. Jensen, thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Jensen.
Pleasure. And Brad, you're going to stick around. We got more work to do.
Hey, Brad,
So
you want
anywhere.
to sell your
We're gonna take a
OpenAI
quick
shares,
break.
Brad?
We'll come back with Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
All the wire says no drama with OpenAI. Nvidia CEO says they need his company's new generation chips. All right, well, that was fun. Can you imagine not buying diapers and beer? Yeah, man. Well, we still got AI exposure. That's the funniest part. Intel's not the best AI exposure. The price is acting like it is, but thankfully we got some of that Meta too. But, everybody was kind of, tripping over themselves trying to buy everything at a really high price. I'm very grateful for the diapers and beer. I think very solid investment. We got a farm too. Got some real estate in there. I have no regrets. No regrets at all. Well, they were talking earlier about the whole shutdown stuff. You might deal with some little things very soon. I think in September as well. But it should be good related to up until the midterms, pretty much. Tap has been great. It's funny because, you know, alcohol still sucks. So like that, but that's why that was like the big difference between like software and like alcohol. We were talking about this one yesterday because like when things get bad, like the freak out you saw yesterday, it's a little bit better today, but the last like 7 days in software, usually when you get the stocks freaking out, usually the fundamentals have already crashed. That's the difference. This time around, the stock prices started dropping. Credit got a little bit worse, but then literally you don't have like a bottom in the narrative. That's why like when we bought the Tap stuff, I mean, I was telling you guys when we bought it, like everybody knows alcohol is already dead. It's not like we weren't denying that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't buy Tap because I'm like, yeah, alcohol's the best growing industry. No, it's been dead for multiple years, and like it hasn't really had an uptick, hasn't gotten worse, but it's like all of that was priced into every single alcohol stock, DO, STZ, Tap, and then Tap just so happened to be the one that was below book value. Actually, let's see, is Tap at book value now? Oh, I didn't even think about that. Where is homeboy? Tap. Yeah, we had the Bill one early. We were like a couple minutes behind it, but remember, that was already up in the morning too. They had like a 18% earnings move. Yeah, they're right below book value now. So think about it. We bought Tap at 0.6 book value. Now it's at 0.94. You didn't make 40%, but that just goes to show how, like, you know, a difference in price. Now, like, Tap is trading around right below its asset level and, like, what they hold with everything. The EPS is still actually pretty high. Forward PE is low. Fucking Tap, dude. And I'm still shocked the staples are up. The high today was 51.78. One, I think we've gotten two, or I think there was two divvies, but I think after the first purchase, I missed the first one. I'm pretty sure it's two, because then this one will be, but we've held it for a decent amount of time. But I'm glad too, we stacked up on it. It's good. Even then for the rebuild, we didn't really have dividends. So we get some. Even Kimberly though, we're gonna get that. Again, you have till like March 6th on Kimberly to secure the second set. Dr. Oz, the food pyramid, that kind of did help, yeah. And just this whole little crazy rally here. Everybody kind of panicking, rotating into value, you know. Because again, it's not the worse things get, the odds of the rate cuts, people start to see that pathway forward. But it's just like, dude, some of these stocks were fairly stable. Even Kimberly, 5% yield. It's like, dude, you're getting paid almost double the Fed funds rate. Drip. Usually when you add a new position, you got to make sure. That's how it is on a Fidelity or Schwab. You could turn automatic on everyone, but yeah, it does that sometimes. Yeah, Intel does sell some of the material, but not all of it for AI. And again, they've kind of their execution. Intel, let me put it this way. Intel, I mean, I'm glad that they went up and I'm glad they're doing good. But like, if I was the CEO, they would be doing a lot better. And that's good though, because even if I'm not CEO, it just means like they could perform a lot better. They could get really, really involved in the whole AI thing. But people aren't using their products as much. Some people are, but they could execute a little bit better. SPY's ripping again. A lot of manufacturing, couple of the staples, and then Nvidia. Again, Nvidia is clearing the fucking way right now, dude. You're up 7.5% mixed in with 400 other names that are running. Melteruski that haven't gotten knocked off? No. I mean, you might get like Oscar and a couple of others, but most of the healthcare names, they all look exactly the same. Yeah, Bitcoin's still running. The premiums finally moved. The out of the monies, they gapped up a little bit. High ticker is almost fully gassed. I know, dude. Nvidia hasn't done much, but that's 7.5 today. It reminds me of Meta earnings. When Meta had that 2-day big dump, I think it's the same. Last time the market freaked out too. Meta, and now this time instead of Meta, it's Nvidia. Lawmakers are working on legislation to address safety concerns after 2025 mid-air collision. Everybody in the XLP, put your mother and hands up and follow me. Everybody in the XLP, put your mother and stocks up. What? Nobody stand tough. Notice that these software stocks still haven't bounced up. This AI's got you gassed up. Now who's afraid of the big bad mo? 1, 2, 3 into the 4. 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, 4, 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, no more. This guy ain't no mother in volatility. I know everything he got to say against me. AI is dumb. I is a bum. It does live in a trailer with Jensen. I'm sorry. On that note, let's look at IGV. I did get jumped by all of the anthropic dumps. I'm sorry. Don't ever try to judge me, dude, because you don't know what the crypto's been through. But I know something about you. It's one of the classics. Well, Dow? Do you mean the Dow? Maybe. Dude, I can't believe the Dow's up 1,000 points. This guy don't want to battle. He shook. Because ain't no such things as humans on Molt Book. Ah! I'm sorry. It's a good day, man. It's a good day. It is doing the philo run. App is the #1 decliner on the SPY. So that, I mean, how much did it bounce today? 8%. This was the biggest decliner on IGV, I'm pretty sure. And on the S&P. Remember, this thing was $700 to start the year. Elf, they had earnings. I like them and I don't. They used to be a lot cheaper. That's why it's like, if this thing ever really got back to its back in the day price, I'd probably be a buyer. But it is tied to consumers and China and everything else. I like Estee Lauder too, but I liked Estee Lauder here. I know some of you picked it up. But the thing I like about Estee Lauder right now is that the new Fed chair, his wife is literally the granddaughter. You guys know that, right? I told you on day one, but essentially Estee Lauder, Kevin Warsh's wife is Jane Lauder, the granddaughter of literally Estee and Joseph Lauder. So yeah, but other than that, these are a lot of the makeup, Estee Lauder, they're like low-key sub-China plays, as odd as that may sound. But they have came up a lot from the bottom. That's why, I don't know. I'm down to flip them. I'm flipping EL, but the other ones I'm chilling. This guy's a gangster. His real name is Jensen. Ah! Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Jensen. Please sell me a Blackwell. I didn't mean it. I need you, Jensen. I hope we could all be friends, Jensen. I wear a leather jacket at night and I look in the mirror. Please, Jensen. Besant Chance Trump accounts could be one of his greatest legacies. Is he on CNBC?
Nation until the
Yep. Well, gosh.
Inside have already suggested that no crime's been committed here. Should this investigation
look at his posture, chest to the sun.
Again, that will be for Jeanine Pirro to decide. And
Fed independence.
If you look closely at the text from the senators, they said no crime was committed, but it's also not a great look because they said that the chair was incompetent. So no crime, but probably guilty of incompetence.
Let me ask you as well about the dollar, which you have said in the last week
Bill's
or so,
still
as we
going.
watched the dollar weaken up until, of course, the events of the past few days, that the U.S. has always had a strong dollar policy. The president has called the weakening dollar great. Which is it?
I think that's a false choice. That the dollar going up and down on a screen. I've traded currencies for 35 years. The strong dollar policy is, are we doing the things to create a strong backdrop for the dollar? So our tax policy, our trade policy, our deregulatory policy, our energy policy, reasserting our sovereignty in critical minerals. Are we making the U.S. the best place for capital in the world? And I think no one's done that better than President Trump.
Mr. Secretary, I can't thank you enough for spending the time with us. Appreciate it very much, and we'll see you soon.
Hey, get the fuck off. We don't want to hear this. Give us drama.
That's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent joining us here as part of our coverage. We've got about 90 seconds left as we wrap things up. You feel pretty good about where your exposure is to the market?
Yeah. I mean, listen, you got to give a lot of credit to Secretary Bessent. He's right. The flight path for the United States looks great, right? We've got GDP accelerating. We got inflation well anchored, coming in below expectations.
You want some still fire?
You got
Can't
tailwinds
pay
coming
my
from
rent because crypto's weak as shit. But that's okay because Sailor will buy.
States and on a relative basis around the world, I think one of the strongest places we've ever been. And then we have, all the stuff going on in earnings, and you see the earnings numbers, they're great. So, the market is selling off, Scott. Multiples are now well below, their average, and I think it's creating some really interesting buying opportunities.
Yeah, and on the new Fed chair, you happy with the selection?
Yes, I mean, listen, I think that Kevin Hassett would have been a great suggestion, a great choice as well. But there's no doubt in my mind that this Fed will be independent, number one. And number two, they're going to follow the facts. Kevin Warsh said if inflation goes up like it did in June of 21, he would have raised rates. Now he's going to cut rates because inflation's anchored, and we're in a place we can do it.
This was really fun today. I can't thank you enough for bringing by some friends, too. That's Brad Gerstner of Altimeter joining us. See what happens on Sunday as well. I'll see you on the closing bell.
Go Pats.
Go Pats. Is this the cat bouncing? Some would say. Some would say. Dude, do you know there is a fun fact about dead cats? I think they actually do. I forgot the story behind why they call it a dead cat bounce. But remember I told you this before. This is like market history. I'm blanking on it right now. But there is some real meaning behind the whole dead cat bounce thing. But yeah, as far as today though, we didn't really get much. As far as headlines, this was all, dude, it's yesterday, just as people started to panic, early morning futures or late last night, they dumped, and then it just went whoop. No, there's a story where I think there's some reasoning behind it. I think even if a cat is dead, it still bounces. It's I've never experimented with this. I don't know, but I forgot the story. There's a real story. Yeah, there is a story about it. All right, Chad. Well, do you know what time it is? It's time for a little thing called Fila on this glorious Friday afternoon. Things are ripping. Even premium silver came up. The Bitcoin premium started to move. You got a little bit of headlines. You got that little bill buyout. You got the home builders. Haven't heard from Trump today. Or again, even yesterday, we got some worries about Iran. But other than that, man, today's a chill day. Just as the last couple days people were freaking out about software, it's a little chiller now. So we'll go over it when we start the next video. But my brothers and sisters, it is time for philosophy. Let's philosophize and have a great rest of our day here on a Friday. So I'll see you there. The link will take you there. It's free $99 to join. I hope you have a wonderful evening and wonderful weekend, too, if I don't see you.